Well, guys, we are back for another episode of the Liberal Asshole Show, episode 108. And what are today's topics?
Trump shot, Biden drops out, Trump's VP sucks, compilation of Trump being braindead, Republicans being racist and misogynistic to Kamala Harris, could Kamala axe Biden's admins, Biden going up to SCOTUS, an elongated Musgrave is a deadbeat dad and a turf and probably a turf neo-Nazi.
Thank you, Tesla and Aaron, for that nickname for him months ago. That is so awesome. So, of course, there is one video that doesn't have... There's one topic that doesn't have a video. However, it's not the most important one, so we need to get to the most important one off the bat. And that, literally, the day after we did the last episode, Trump got shot at a rally recently. And he survived an assassination attempt. Now, it's a good thing that it's been 2 weeks since we were able to cover this, because we found so much information we probably wouldn't have had otherwise, instead of, freaking out like a whole bunch of idiots did and such. So, here's what we know. Trump, of course, is at a rally in Pennsylvania, and someone from, up to, I think it was 400 feet away or so, shot at him. Now, and it grazed his ear. At first, people thought maybe he wasn't...
Yeah, it looks like what happened is the bullet hit something. I think it was the teleprompter, possibly, that got hit, or whatever it did that caused glass to shatter, and a piece of that slashed Trump's ear. Because remember, if it was an actual AR-15, Trump wouldn't have an ear, and he wouldn't be able to hear out of that ear.
Because from what I've found recently with doctor reports, that he actually was shot, so I don't know how true that is.
Oh, okay.
But that's one of the theories, that he wasn't shot, it was glass shards or whatever. But from what
must have only just barely grazed him, because those things they are designed to kill.
Yeah, which is why only the military should have them. But getting off topic, he was grazed, he was fine. I think 3 people were injured. I don't know if he was included or separate. Unfortunately, one of the people did die there at the rally. And the guy who shot them was killed by Secret Service and all that. And yes, the Secret Service did a horrible job protecting the event. How do you not cover that area? How do you not cover that area? And here's another thing, too. They knew about him being there for minutes. Well, I don't know about Secret Service, but people and all them knew there for minutes that the guy was there. And they did nothing about it. Should have been almost instantly and such. So, terrible job. And the woman who ran the Secret Service resigned yesterday. So, but they did a terrible job and such. And we got a lot to cover. So, of course, oh my god. First off, I guess we'll talk about the shooter. Of course, people were thinking it's a Democrat or whatever trying to kill Trump and all that. Well, no, the guy's actually a registered Republican. So, that opens up a lot of interesting things and such, but there's more to it, which we're going to watch Kyle's video in a moment. But from what it sounds like, the guy might not even necessarily have a political motivation to try and kill Trump. In fact, it looks like he was just going to try and kill whoever was around, Biden included, and just Trump was 50 miles from where he lived, so Trump just happened to be close enough to do what he wanted to do and such. So, yeah. And, so, first off, yes, that's, as much as we hate Trump, and he is an evil man, and of course, we're not going to stop talking about him, call him like a dictator or a fascist, because he is. I don't care if you don't like hearing it, I don't care if it makes him unsafe or whatever, he is what he is. We're not going to stop pointing it out. Don't like it, deal with it. Maybe tell Trump to stop being a fascist piece of shit all the time then. But, of course, it is unacceptable what happened to him. That's condemnable. We don't need to kill Trump. Let's kick him out in the voting booth in a few months, which we'll get to that. Which we'll get to that in a little bit as well. So get that out of the way. And oh my God, it's unfortunate what happened to that person that was killed, protecting his kids and all that. But at the same time too, the guy was a vile piece of shit, as we found. Actually celebrated Palestinians dying and stuff like that. So, evil piece of shit, but defend your kids. There's no valid reason that you should be killed going at a Trump rally. You should never be killed doing anything of the sort. So that's still very unfortunate. And oh my God, we gotta get a lot to that too. Because it almost wanted to be another topic too. Because, oh my God, the amount of people that were making fun of him. Like you, Destiny. Remember that over last 2 weeks?
Destiny.
The drama Destiny had because he was making fun of Trump and making fun of the guy who was killed and all that. Look, Trump sucks. Yes, the guy who got killed, he sucked too. That doesn't mean they should be killed, for crying out loud. Like, come on. And he acts like the poor victim and all that and such. And like he was like he's gone like all like the far right like debate channels and all that, like explaining his position. And like you can point out how bad Trump is, but still condemn it and all that. You look pretty bad. Like we just did that for right now. Like, come on, man. Like I was pathetic at Destiny. He acted like such a complete Karen. So yeah, trying to think of the next thing. Oh yeah, and people are acting like, Trump getting shot means he's guaranteed to win. No. First off, there has been
made a change.
Yep, as Kyle and I was covered, there has been no changing the polls since Trump was shot. Not one thing. As I told you all, because the assassination attempt did not change anything. It's not gonna make like people that are gonna vote for a Democrat no matter what. Like, oh, now I'm gonna vote for Trump because I feel bad for him. No, People are almost all people are already set in stone. If you like Trump, you're going to vote for him no matter what. If you hate Trump, you're going to vote against him no matter what.
Yep.
And the like undecided people, I don't think that's going to have any impact whatsoever. What's going to have more of an impact is that Trump sucks so bad that he repels people and such. So nope, had no impact whatsoever. But yeah, it still is very unfortunate that happened, especially that one person dying and such. So yeah, what do you guys say about this?
Pretty terrible. It's condemnable and not fun.
Oh yeah, and also just now you've remembered all the conspiracy theorists that idiots had.
God,
that Biden did on purpose
for the millionth time.
Yeah. Oh my God, so many conspiracy theorists have about too. Like all of you now look completely silly, which of course all you pretty much already did look silly. Like guys. The reality is, it was just simply someone that acted on their own and tried to kill him. Is it really that hard to understand? Maybe someone just wanted to do that, not like some conspiracy, like, oh, Biden was involved to try and kill Trump and all. Like, stop. Just
Stop it. Stop it. Stop. You're part of the reason why this happened.
And yeah. And also, may I also add, because I want to point out, like, this shows how violent the left is and all that. Well, first off, this guy wasn't even on the left whatsoever, but more importantly, no, the right is violent. There's been so many polls recently. Over 30% of Republicans support violence to get what they want. You on the right are the violent ones. And you guys are the reason why nobody likes you, nobody likes Trump, and you all keep losing because your ideas suck. And you know it, that's why you want to get violent and deny the election like Trump did 4 years ago. And such, and January 6th. So, yeah, in the end, it's all your guys' fault. Because you guys suck so badly. But yeah, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Hopefully Trump actually gets a brain. Oh yeah, that also brought up too. Because we're not going to cover the RNC thing, but Vosh did a video covering like most of Trump's speech, and how he acted like very, very like, calm in comparison to like he used to. Didn't you see that video?
I haven't yet.
Like, he wasn't like bombastic and blaming everyone. He seemed like he was actually terrified of what just happened recently. So, hopefully, maybe Trump, after having a near-death experience, hopefully you'll tone it down and just accept the fact that, yes, I did lose in 2020. Yes, I caused January 6th. And yes, my ideas suck. And I need to liberalize if I want to have any chance to win.
And he could also be like, yes, I'm also a seditious piece of shit who wants to turn America into a Nazi dictatorship.
But yeah, that was a lot to say, and it's like I said, it's a good thing we were able to wait this long because we got more info out instead of speculating and looking like idiots and all that. It's better, remember people, it's always better to wait and be right than be early and be wrong. Unlike a lot of people. Oh my God. The amount of stupidity I saw over the last 2 weeks on Twitter about it was insane. But of course, we already got through it, and we still probably should watch Kyle's video on it, even though we largely already covered it. Now, of course, got to find it again, because there's like so many videos to pick. Oh my God, which one is it? Oh, here we go, right at the beginning. And of course, thank you, OBS, for being a turd. So now let's watch Kyle's video on it.
All right, guys, I know it feels like it's not the case anymore, but let me remind you that President Trump was shot not that long ago. He was shot. He got shot in the ear. He almost died. And look, we've been tracking it. I've been giving you guys all the updates and all the information that comes out. And one thing I've definitely had one thing I've definitely followed closely is the conspiracy theories that have popped up. And we've seen them all.
Could you please stand up a little bit?
The resistance liberals saying he actually didn't get shot. There's no evidence he got shot. Keith Olbermann is kind of leaning into that, trying to be the Alex Jones of the Democrats.
Well, even if he didn't get shot, which of course Evan seems he was, that doesn't change the fact that he still got injured and it was still unacceptable. So I don't really know. Yeah. I don't know what the point of arguing if he got shot or not.
He still got blast.
Side, we saw in the immediate aftermath somebody blamed the Chinese.
Of course, racism. Let's go.
Yep, there we go.
I know all of the inside job, of course, is the biggest one that's being talked about. So
because everything's an inside job according to these morons.
There's a lot of weird facts about this guy. So on paper, he's like tailor-made to confuse the shit out of you and have you going, I don't know what his fucking motive is, right? Donated to a...
That's why you wait instead of speculating, people.
Progressive PAC in 2021, $15. Obviously... tried to kill Donald Trump, so that alone is evidence of like...
Yeah, that's what the right used. Oh, he donated to a progressive political PAC like the day after Biden got elected and such. But ever since then, everything indicates that he was a right-winger. He registered Republican. Exactly. He voted in the 2022 midterms. He was part of like gun rights group and such. And he was annoyed people at school and such. Like, the guy is obviously a right-winger. But that doesn't necessarily mean he killed him for political reasons, like we said, which Kyle's going to get into in a bit.
An extreme lefty.
Yep.
But then you learn he registered as a Republican after he had donated to a progressive PAC and voted as a Republican in 2022 and was a Republican until he ended up trying to kill Trump and then getting killed himself. Then you have, he was wearing like a gun YouTuber shirt. Then you have stories of severe illness. Then you have stories coming out of the school where they're like, hey man, he was bullied like crazy. You have stories coming out of the school where
of course is way too frequent.
He was super conservative in class. Then you hear other stories about he may have been super conservative, but he was anti-Trump, and he made that clear. So it's possible that he was some Groyper far-right type. It's possible.
And yeah, guys, believe it or not, there are actual, not only just conservatives, but there actually are a lot of far-right people that don't like Trump. Because they don't think like he's right wing enough and whatever. Like that's actually a thing.
Those who literally want to shoot everyone, who literally just wants to go around massacring everyone they don't like.
Again, it's like if you were to go to a lab and try to draw up, how do we get somebody who tries to assassinate a president who's like confusing everybody, and anybody could read in whatever motive they want, right? Right wingers could say it was a lefty, left wingers could say it was a righty.
Or like it could be just not political, just like the last time a president got injured, Reagan. Yep. The guy shot him, just tried to do it to impress Jodie Foster. It was not even political whatsoever. That could be an option too, people.
Apolitical or rational people could say he's just a fucking lone nut. And
that seems to be the case.
But again, more and more stuff comes out and you're like, Jesus, it's just a mystery, right? It's just a mystery. People have to be comfortable living in the place at the moment of, I just don't know. Because there's
nothing wrong with saying you don't know and wait for evidence.
Exactly.
So look at this. This is from a Washington Post and MSNBC reporter here. Before a gunman got close to killing Donald Trump at the Pennsylvania rally, the Secret Service denied repeated requests from worried agents on Trump's security detail, seeking more protection for him at other events. The Secret Service and director had earlier claimed to the Washington Post and campaign no such requests were denied. So you have some Secret Service people being like, look, we were asking for more help, more Secret Service. And there was that story of, Iran was maybe trying to do some assassination.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, pal.
Iran! Dude, we'd fucking nuke them if they did that.
Yeah, like, come on, man. Iran did not have anything to try and kill Trump. Just stop.
So that. And so more Secret Service agents were like, we wanted more help and we didn't get the help. And then the head of the Secret Service is like, actually, no, that didn't happen. Again, it's just the mysteries. Fox News reports that a local sniper team did fire a shot during the assassination attempt on Donald Trump. The development appears to confirm that there were indeed 3 separate shooters as the incident unfolded. According to Fox, a local sniper tried taking out Crooks but missed. And then the Secret Service sniper was the one who took out Crooks in what they're calling a 1 in a million shot. Apparently, he was way, way, way further back. Also, we're told a local police sniper took a single shot as well, but missed. Okay, So here, let me play this, if we learn anything from this.
Hi, Eric. Good afternoon. A source familiar with the investigation tells me that, look, it took a single shot to kill the would-be assassin Thomas Crooks, and that shot came from a Secret Service counter sniper that the source says he described the shot as a 1 in a million type of shot. The counter sniper could only see the top of the scope, his eye, and forehead because the lip of the AGR building that Crooks was on was obscuring that view. We're also told a local police sniper took a single shot as well, but missed. Remember, this building was about 150 yards away from where the former president was standing on that stage, and it had a clear line of sight to the former president. Federal law enforcement sources tell Fox that while Crooks snuck up on that roof, a Butler Township Emergency Services Unit sniper team was looking out of the windows of that same building, watching for any suspicious activity. So how did Crooks get on that roof? Federal law enforcement sources tell Fox that it was initially thought he brought a ladder. However, no ladder was found on site, and we're now told the more likely scenario is that Crooks hid his father's AR-15 near an AC unit, and then he climbed onto that AC unit to get up onto the roof of the AGR building. This, as the Wall Street Journal is now reporting, the shooter was able to fly a drone above the rally site earlier that day. The predetermined flight path, the Journal reports, indicates that he flew the drone more than once to scope out the site. A federal law enforcement source tells Fox the Secret Service was not flying a drone over the rally that day. Senator Josh Hawley says multiple whistleblowers with direct knowledge have come forward saying the rally was being treated as a loose security event.
Okay, so the big piece there that we didn't know before is the 3 different shooters, right? And what had popped up online recently is a bunch of right-wingers trying to do their own like forensic audio analysis, and they came to the conclusion, dude, there was more than one shooter at Trump, because when you do the audio analysis, you hear basically 3 different kinds of gunshots distinctly, right? The audio quality is different, it's different kind of guns, it's from different distances away. But as they come out and say here, apparently there was a local sniper who tried to take out Crooks but failed. And then you had the Secret Service sniper who did, and of course you have Crooks' shots himself. And so that explains the 3 different audio versions of the shooting. Okay, but again, look, I mean, I'm sure as time goes by, this will be dissected so many different ways. It's going to be like the Zapruder film and the JFK assassination. And you all know, even at this late date, people really haven't settled. I mean, the establishment theory is it was just Lee Harvey Oswald, and that's the end of the conversation. But you have very credible people who've looked into it and say, I mean, I remember reading an article in frickin' CNN about 7 years back where they said a guy who was hired to like look into this from every perspective came to the conclusion, I was able to rule out every conspiracy except one, the CIA. That's what they said about JFK, right? What
I say there is that while the CIA was planning to assassinate him, Lee Harvey Oswald got him first.
And me, who just doesn't care either way.
There's already so much. I mean, maybe it always happens in scenarios like this, even if there's a mass shooting or whatever, that there's so much contradictory evidence and just it's overwhelming to kind of comb through it, but people will do it, and they will continue to do it. All right, so get this, man. Again, this it's like tailor-made to confuse you, like all the information that's come out. Ready? So Thomas Crooks' former school, he was not bullied. This is Bethel Park School District. There is a painful misconception that Thomas Crooks was relentlessly bullied in school, which may have led to the assassination attempt on former President Trump. According to our records, Mr. Crooks excelled academically, regularly attended school, and had no disciplinary incidents, including those related to bullying or threats. Thomas Crooks was never a member of the school's rifle team, and we have no record of him trying out. The coach does not recall meeting him. However, it is possible that Crooks informally attended a practice, took a shot, and never returned. We don't have any record of that happening. He was known as a quiet, bright young man who generally got along with his teachers and classmates. So now this is the school attempting to contradict one of the classmates who came out and said he was relentlessly bullied, right? Now, I guess you could say the school kind of has an incentive to cover their own ass, because if the argument is, hey, the fact he was so bullied could have led to him to do this, then the school will kind of feel like kind of responsible that they didn't do a better job of policing the students and not having bullying in the school, and so they might have an incentive to cover their own ass to say he wasn't bullied. But now it's a matter of whose word do you trust more, the school itself, or do you trust the classmate who came out and did an interview with some local TV outlet and said he was bullied relentlessly and I saw it, right? Again, I don't know the answer. I tend to lean more in the direction of the classmate himself who talked about it. Because they had first, eyewitness account. I would say It's possible that he was bullied, but it never got to the point of disciplinary action for the people who bullied him. You know, sometimes when kids get bullied, they try to keep it on the low. They're not exactly running to authority figures to try to get help because that could lead to more bullying later on, right? So, I don't know, but yet again, another piece of contradictory information that I have to share with you. Another piece of contradictory information that I have to share with you. Finally, I'll give you this one. I'm sure you all saw this one by now. Trump shooter Thomas Matthew Crooks' last online search was for porn. Can you imagine? After busting a nut, thinking, yeah, I know what I want to do now. An assassination. What? The universal reaction to busting a nut is like, I'm gonna go grab a sandwich. Like, watch TV or whatever. Kill somebody? Jesus Christ. Failed Donald Trump assassin Thomas Matthew Crooks' final online search before the Pennsylvania rally shooting last weekend was for pornography, according to a report. By the way, they don't say, like, what kind. They don't go into details. But that actually would be kind of interesting to know.
I mean,
like,
Kyle,
exactly.
this is a New York Post you're
Crooks'
talking
last
about.
search was found when the FBI gained access to the 20-year-old's encrypted Samsung
Nor do
phone.
I really care.
Initial attempts to bust into the
Neither do
Android
I.
Pittsburgh field office failed, and the phone had to be flown to Quantico for agents to take a look. The sources explained the only other recent activity the FBI found on the phone was text from Crooks' parents asking where he was. The message started around 1 p.m. And continued through the afternoon. Crooks' parents apparently believed their son had taken one of his father's AR-15 rifles and gone to a local shooting range. Around 6 p.m., Crooks opened fire on the Trump rally at the Butler Farm Show grounds, grazing Trump's ear. Crooks was shot dead by a Secret Service sniper. At 6 p.m., he was dead. Agents found 4 rifle magazines by his body, as well as a remote that could detonate the explosives found in his car nearby. 6 days after the assassination attempt, the FBI has mostly finished looking at Crooks' phone and is now focused on his laptop and hard drives that were found in his bedroom. So far, the investigators have found a troubling online history that included searches for the Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley and other mass shooters. Crooks had a photo on his phone of the mass shooter just after his arrest. He was dead. What do you mean his arrest? And also had information about Crumbley's parents, who were both convicted of involuntary manslaughter for failing to stop their son's carnage. So that's interesting. So we wanted to see, would his parents get arrested if he did this? Because there is a precedent of parents getting arrested theoretically for not being able to stop their son from being a mass shooter because they maybe had some prior knowledge, right? That's interesting. In the days leading up to the school shooting, Crooks had looked up Trump and President Biden as well as other elected figures. Christopher Wray was one of them. He also apparently looked up like one of the members of the royal family, maybe Meghan Markle or something. So it does look like from that evidence, it looks like he was looking for anybody to kill and whatever's the most convenient, and Trump just happened to be closest to him with his rally that he did in Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So, authorities are looking into the possibility that Crooks was focused on a mass casualty event and that Trump's rally close to his home in Pennsylvania was a convenient target. So it's possible also he was trying to maybe use those explosives at the Trump rally to kill other people, but couldn't do it because the security was tight enough where he couldn't get that off, right? I don't know. We're speculating at this point. That's the gist of the updates for you guys. The questions aren't going to stop, right? But again, it always comes back to this basic conversation. Is it incompetence on the part of the Secret Service, or is there something more malicious and nefarious and conspiracy-like going on? As I always tell you guys, I will always default to the incompetence unless there's overwhelming evidence otherwise, because that's a razor. It's just incompetence. So,
like I said, but 9/11 happened. It was incompetence because, as I said, because
Bush was an idiot. Oh.
Yes, because George Bush and Dick Cheney are idiots.
That's what I always keep saying.
Things for sure. Everyone's pissed at the Secret Service because the more
Bin
evidence comes
Laden
out, the more
determined to
detail
attack
comes out, the more we
America.
learn
A
they
month
were
beforehand.
unprepared for what
You
ended up
got your
happening.
ass covered.
And even though that sniper was able to get a shot off at just the right time, and Crooks got some shots off, but he was dead almost immediately after. I mean,
Second
that guy
time been
definitely
hit,
did a
I'll just
great
keep reading
job,
my
but
pet goat.
the fact that it got to the point where he could have an open look anyway is definitely a massive scandal. All right, guys, that's the show. I love y'all very much.
So, yeah, that's pretty much the video. So, what do you have to say about that video?
Pretty wild, not gonna lie.
So, yeah, final thoughts. We condemn him getting shot. It's a good thing he survived, but I don't feel any sympathy for him, and I'm not going to stop pointing out that he's a fascist and whatever, because he is. I feel bad for the person that was killed, even though he was a piece of shit, too.
Yeah.
And, yeah. How about you conservatives stop being the violent ones and maybe stuff will calm down? But, of course, it's in your nature to be violent, because your ideology is violent. All right. So I guess we finally, after like 25 minutes, covered that enough. So now, let's get on to the next topic.
And that'll be
The
Biden dropping out.
More of the actual surprising one, and the one that doesn't have a video.
Mm-hmm.
So, a few days ago, Biden dropped out from running as a Democratic nominee. Now, of course, a whole bunch of idiots were acting like, that means he's no longer president. No, he's dropped out from running. He's not resigning, people. He's going to be president still till January 20th. Unless, of course, he dies, resigns, or impeached, which I don't think either of them are going to happen. So, you're still going to deal with him for another 6 months. So, I hope you enjoyed suffering with that senile old man. So, of course, this happened because of his horrible debate he had last month. And it's been for like a month straight of pressure to try and get him to drop out. I didn't think he was going to drop out at all. Especially once Trump got shot at. I thought, okay, the pressure is finally going to go off him and he'll probably like, see, you need me, so shut up and stop talking about it. But nope, he still did. So he's no longer running to be president. He's guaranteed to be gone on January 20th. So now, what are the Democrats going to do now that he's withdrawn? Well, it looks like they're going to settle with the person that, like I said in the last episode we covered, is the only option pretty much, and that's Kamala Harris, his vice president pick. Of course, like I said, she is, oh my god, we'll get to that in a little bit. She, of course, is part of the ticket, so it makes sense for her to take over since she's part of the ticket. And also, as I point out, and a whole bunch of others point out, she's the only other one that has access to the war chest of Biden's campaign, whereas any other Democratic option, they would have to make money on their own. So, a massive war chest, so yeah, it makes sense. And more importantly, although it isn't official yet, because I think it's next week when the DNC happens, when they officially nominate someone, she has enough delegates to get the nomination. So, I think it's pretty obvious. Oh, and Biden endorsed her too, so that's a major factor as well.
Yep, that's huge.
So, yeah. Looks like Kamala is going to replace him, the Democratic nominee, to take on Trump. So, of course, was it the right thing? Probably now, yes. Okay, at least people can finally shut up about it for once, because it was getting so annoying when people were saying, like, oh, he has no chance to win. I still think Biden had a chance to win, because Trump was so uniquely bad. And hey, you know what? Since he's dropping out, we'll never know. So I get to say for the rest of my life that I know he had a chance still. You can't prove me wrong. So, we're going to probably get to maybe, like, is she a good candidate or not? Maybe when she's officially nominated, looking at all of her issues and such. But right now, she's the front runner. And at first I had some concerns because I don't trust her as much against Trump as Biden. But as we've seen, not just from the polls, but from the enthusiasm, she has massively turned it around. Like, she's like almost reversed all of the negative polling that Biden had.
Yep.
So now it's not only even, but some polls she's leading. Like, it's turned it around so much that she actually can stop Trump finally. So, hey, that's a good sign for her, because she's got a lot to prove to me and others and all that. So, what do you guys say about that? Biden dropping out. I wasn't expecting it, and we have to see about that.
I was on the fence as to whether he would drop out or not.
I thought he was going to be such a stubborn, senile old man. He'd be like, no, no matter what. But looks like
part of me felt like he might be like, if the right person talked to him, he might. And
pretty much
it was Nancy who did.
Yep.
Who finally got through to him.
Nancy and Schumer, like the main Democrats in power, pretty much convinced him to drop out. And they probably still polls of him struggling and such. Although I still think they're over-exaggerating. I still think he would have won and such. But, hey, remember, like I said before for months now, I was voting for Biden because I can't have Trump women with him wanting to start World War III. And, of course, he's still there. He's still the nominee. So you know what that means? Yay, people! Are you ready for K-Hive 2024? Said no one ever. I bet your Aussie ass is so lucky that you're not like me right now. You're so lucky, you know that? So,
it also helps that we have
that you don't have a brain dead fool.
Yeah, but also that we have compulsory voting and a fucking that our Progressive Party have enough power in the Senate that they're actually able to help strike down bad policy, and also
And scare
make
labor
a
to
few
actually be
adjustments
good.
Yeah, unfortunately, Labour is shit light. So
Just like them. At least you guys have an option here.
No. Democrats are shit compared to shit light Labour.
At least you all have a way to scare back into place, unlike us. Why can't we have more of you guys, system? Fuck. But yeah.
Because you don't have ranked choice voting.
Well, some states do, but of course the Republicans are trying to prevent them in every state, of course, because they're cunts.
Of course.
So yeah, I bet you're thinking, at least I'm not the fat fuck here who has to vote for that piece of shit. You are so lucky.
I can put the Greens up at front, and then any other independents ahead of Albo.
Oh my god. So yeah, Biden dropped out. First time since LBJ did almost 60 years ago. We'll see if it's the right choice, but right now it's starting to look good. And if Kamala is the official nominee, because I think next time out she will be the official nominee or not, we'll talk about her original and see if she's good or not. But like I said, like for most of us are gonna vote for her no matter what, because it's not about her or the policies. It's just keeping that fascist orangutan out at all costs. So yeah, K-Hive people, you're looking forward to it? I know conservatives are, because, oh boy, we're back to the Obama days where they can't stop being racist and misogynistic. Yay, remember those days? Oh, and by the way, they're doing their own birtherism to her too. Her parents are not American, so she can't be president. Let that racism fly. But hey, we'll get to that later on in the episode, because oh boy, Kyle has a big video on that, what the racism and the misogyny that conservatives are good at. Alright, so now, on to the next topic.
JD Vance sucks ass.
Oh, that's an understatement. So, of course, sometime after the assassination attempt, Trump announced his vice president nominee, and it's JD Vance, the senator from Wisconsin. And he, as I expected, sucks. He's a horrible option, not only because we disagree with him, but he's horrible in terms of optics. If Trump actually wanted a good person, the only real option would be like Nikki Haley, who, by the way, caved in line and endorsed Trump recently.
Caved. I knew she would eventually, the sellout bitch she is.
Like I told you, we all warned you and told you all she would do, and she would act like, I'm not gonna do it. Because you guys, it's only progressives that fall in line with what we say. You guys fall in line with whatever you say. Like we told you all for years now, Republicans will always fall in line pretty much. And Haley, I'm not surprised. If you did pick Haley, you would have a much better chance, because, oh boy, this sucks, as JD Vance, if anything, believe it or not, might potentially even be worse than Trump, which is crazy, because he's a fascist piece of shit. JD Vance is, along with the overt religious fundamentalism that Trump isn't. So, yeah, let's see Kyle's video, because he sucks.
Alright, y'all, Trump has officially made his VP pick, and it's a hilarious one for a number of reasons. So first, let me start with the obvious. I used to call Chuck Todd Human Oatmeal. That was my nickname for him, because he's incredibly boring, he has no personality, and he looks like human oatmeal. Well, now I'm officially retiring that name for Chuck Todd, and I'm moving it over to Senator J.D. Vance, who is his pick. J.D. Vance from Ohio. This guy has negative charisma. He looks like a bowl of oatmeal. He's a senator from the state of Ohio, and by the way, Trump already has Ohio locked up, right? So from a political perspective, this honestly makes no sense. So the reporting is the reason he went with him is because one of Trump's top advisors, who he really, really trusts, I'm blanking on her name right now, but she is...
Actually, because this was like right after it happened, it turns out Trump's brain-dead kids encouraged him to pick Vance. Gee, why not surprised? Stupidity runs in the family.
Is very influential with Trump right now. She has been pushing J.D. Vance relentlessly. And the way the press described it is...
Hey, you know what this tells me?
What?
Is that when Trump made that pick, it was because the Republicans were like, hey, we've basically got this election in the bag.
Even though you all did.
we don't need to pick someone who will be a good assistant. And so they picked JD Vance, he's more one that'll help us turn America into a Nazi terrorist organization.
If only he was elected a few years ago, because if that was the case, he wouldn't be able to run for Senate. So if he lost, there would not be a senator anymore either. Well, unfortunately, he was elected 2 years ago, so if he does lose, he'll still be senator, unfortunately. If only we could have hoped.
Yeah.
So that is probably why he got it, because somebody he trusts has been pushing JD Vance relentlessly, and who knows what other arguments they're making
who are
to
as
him
big
about
of a
why he
failure
should
as
pick JD Vance.
me.
But again, he's from the state of Ohio, which Trump already has locked up, and he has absolutely no personality whatsoever. Okay? So now, by the way, I'm going to get to his politics in a second. How is he similar and different from other Republicans? But before I do that, let me point this out. JD Vance underperformed Trump by 2 points in the state of Ohio, and it was supposed to be right-wing trending at the time during the midterms.
Well, that's because Ohio is still somewhat of a swing state. Like, people keep dismissing it. You shouldn't dismiss it. Just like people always dismiss Florida, even though Florida has been, like, 3 points every single time the last, like, couple decades, and people act like it's a swing, it's a red state that Biden or Democrats can't win. It's possible, just like it's possible to win Ohio, people. Stop being, like, so dismissive.
In other words, he would have lost the race if the big money donors didn't come in and bail his ass out.
Yeah, I remember that.
He really is
because
untalented.
Quite a few people have had that happen.
Because you suck so bad. That's why you need money to bail you out. Because you suck.
And he just sort of got lucky to get where he is. And this is Trump's pick. Now, hilarious fact about him, he used to be massively anti-Trump. Massively. So here are some quotes. At one point he said, quote, "Trump might be America's Hitler."
Oh yeah, that's another thing too about JD Vance. Back in 2016, he was like the hardcore anti-Trumpster.
He was anti-Trump, I remember that.
Guys, he was an anti-Trumpster fucker beforehand. So, not only does he suck, not only does he hurt Trump's campaign, but this confirms that he is what we call a grifter!
Yeah,
he's a grifter! Do you really trust a grifter? Why would you trust a grifter? Do I need to show you why he hates Trump back then? That's how pathetic you are.
So, by the way,
imagine supporting a grifter.
Democrat under the sun for the assassination attempt against Trump,
pathetic.
Which was done by a Republican, by the way. Are you going to blame JD Vance now, his VP? Because at one time he said he might be America's Hitler. Is he inciting violence against Trump?
Oh, they'll just conveniently forget about it, just like he probably conveniently forgot about it.
America's
What's
Hitler.
that? Do I see a penny in front of me? I'll turn to Mr. Krabs.
Cynical asshole.
I like money.
He's cultural heroin. He's
money. I want more money because I need it.
At one time he said, I'm going to vote third party because I can't stand Trump.
Greedy, evil capitalist?
Quote,
Don't mind if I do.
I never liked him. Terrible candidate. And quote, you're an idiot if you vote for him. I want to reiterate, this is the guy Trump picked. Now, by the way, did they like try to hide from him this guy's record and this guy's quotes? I don't know. It's very possible they may have. And this person who gave Trump this advice, maybe Trump will see this stuff and now she'll be on the outs. Because, look, the number one thing he prioritizes, and this has been reported enough.
Oh yeah, that also reminds me. That also reminds me. Remember Trump said he was going to pick a woman for VP?
Yes, I remember. He never did.
So much for it poll, right? Piece of shit.
Number of times.
But again, who can blame him? What woman would want to even be around him unless he paid them of something?
Like Stormy Daniels.
One thing he's not is loyal. He is a careerist.
That's fake news, don't you know?
Daniels, I'm not.
It's either fake news or that's badass. Remember?
Yep, I remember that.
Silly man. So another interesting point. You know how Biden just came out and did all that, like, Aaron Sorkin style, let's be above the fray and lower the temperature, and I condemn political violence, and let's come together.
You encourage Trump for years now.
16 hours later, Trump picks J.D. Vance to be his running mate. And J.D. Vance was most recently in the news because he basically accused Biden of trying to kill Trump on Twitter. He, like,
do you remember that? Trying to kill Donald Trump.
I think I know what they're talking about. If I'm correct, it's the tweet that Biden said that we should have a bullseye, whatever, on Trump in terms of the political ads and such, not violence,
Yes.
because you don't believe in nuance and stuff, idiots.
Biden for the assassination.
They only believe in violence, remember?
Trump.
Yeah, that's why they see
Again,
everything
even though it
as
was a
violent.
Republican who did it.
Yes, because they're violent savages.
We're in for quite a wild ride, man. We're in for a wild ride.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be insane. So, I love how nobody, and credit to Adam Johnson on Twitter for pointing this out, but I love how nobody is actually talking right now about like why Trump had to pick another VP, right? Like he had a VP. Mike Pence was his VP, but he had to pick another. Well, why did he have to pick another, I should say?
Because
he wanted
because
to kill him.
didn't. Yep, because Trump wanted to kill him.
Yep.
Wanted to murder him.
And likewise, Pence ran against him.
Yep.
Because Trump incited a mob
That
against
wanted to
his
kill
own
him.
VP.
Wanted to murder him.
Nobody
Yes,
even
exactly.
mentions this anymore. It's just like,
Do you blame Pence for wanting to be around him? I don't.
And they literally had a noose there, and Trump famously said behind the scenes, like, maybe he deserves it. Maybe he deserves it. I love how that's just memory hold. Nobody talks about it. Nobody brings it up, even within the context of
Yeah, let's completely forget that Trump
choosing
wanted
this
to kill
VP.
Pence.
It's like it's just totally gone, right?
Yeah.
We have the memory of fucking
Let's
goldfish
just
in this country.
completely forget about
So-
that.
Finally, let's talk a little bit about J.D. Vance's politics. Look, don't let anybody convince you otherwise. He is the world's most standard Republican. Anybody trying to tell
Yep.
you otherwise is full of shit, right?
Just like his
so
Griffin
more
ass.
shit
Does
than a
he
backed up-
posture something?
They're full of more shit than a backed up toilet.
And plus, grifter.
Sometimes,
Yep,
as
and a
populist.
grifter too.
Sometimes he does. He allegedly supported Democratic efforts to regulate rail companies and said some things about reining in
Yeah,
the
well,
price
you're a
of
grifter, so I don't
insulin
believe
and,
anything you say.
He's against monopolies and wants to break up
All
big
I'm hearing
corporate
is cap.
mergers, and he
Yep.
allegedly wants to bring back manufacturing jobs and not outsource. Like all of this stuff
All I'm hearing is
stuff
cap.
he says. But I have the same test for him that I have for every other politician, which is show me policy-wise. I remember when we heard this about Josh Hawley
I know the ultimate, show that he's a piece of shit. He tried to cover it up, but he wanted to ban abortions nationwide on his site,
Yep.
but he removed it after he got VP because he knew it would look bad for him. But wanted to point
Yep,
that
I
out.
remember that.
Another thing, too, which is important. He wants Ukrainians to die, people.
Yes.
So
Yes.
he's a Russian.
He's a pro-Russian terrorist who wants to.
Russian
who thinks
people.
The Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia are not allowed to have sovereignty.
I want them all to be Holocaust is what he wants.
the other day. Oh, he's a populist. He's a populist Republican. A populist Republican. Oh, then would you look at that? When a vote comes up for $15 minimum wage, he votes against it. Populist my ass cheeks. When a vote comes up for the PRO Act,
Populist
he
my
votes against
dickhole.
it. Populist my ass
Grifton!
cheeks. So, if
Yep,
you're not
he's a
for $15
grifter.
minimum wage, and you're
He's
not
a
for the PRO Act, which is
grifter.
massively pro-union
Never
bill,
trust
He's
grifters,
a
I wanna hear,
people.
oh, you're so populist because every couple months you say something vaguely populist. Fuck out of here, right? Trump himself
He might give
outsourced
a run to
200,000
Jackson
jobs.
Dinkelberg and
his
Candace
tax
Owens for
bill
the ultimate
incentivized
grifter.
outsourcing. He had the nerve to run around in
It's
2016
also,
and run around in 2020.
oh god, you know what that reminds me of regarding Ruben?
Oh no!
Remember, you know the
Oh,
have you
no.
seen the new Norm?
That he voiced one of the characters.
Yep. I remember. Remember when he voiced the re-educator?
Maybe we need to watch that, and I just laugh along, and you make fun of it.
Funny and run around
Yes,
today
I want to
saying,
watch.
"I'm the
We've
onshoring
got to
guy. I'm
watch
against
at some point. We've
outsourcing."
got to watch the
No, you're
new
not.
Norm and
It's
die
that in name
laughing
only.
at it.
It's that in rhetoric.
No,
only.
no, not
In
laughing,
reality,
cringing.
you're just like
I would laugh because
How horrible it is.
you are.
I laugh because I
Libertarian
laugh at
economics,
trash,
it's
remember?
neocon farm
Look at the
policy.
anime and stuff I read and
Corporatism.
watch.
It is what it is. That's what Trump is. That's definitely what J.D. Vance is. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise, because it's not true. It's not true. Sure, he'll gesture and posture towards populism more than your average Republican. But it's the same as Trumpism in 2016.
Never trust a grifter!
And that's who this guy is. That's who this guy is. No charisma, incredibly boring, human oatmeal.
No
used to hate
charisma,
Trump.
more like
When it was
negative
just for his career,
charisma.
He sort of changed lanes and became a Republican and became a pro-Trump Republican. And then now here he is. He kissed ass all the way to the top. Now he's going to be Trump's VP. And by
No
the way,
respect for
good
kiss
luck
ass
to him,
grifters,
right?
people.
Because I'm sure if there's one person in the world
Exactly.
that will tell you don't take the fucking job, it would be Mike Pence. Why? Because Mike Pence did everything Donald Trump wanted every day for 4 fucking years. And the one thing he said I'm not going to do is overturn the election for him. And what did Trump do?
Almost got him killed.
He sat there and let everybody threaten his life. Famously said, maybe he had it coming. Maybe he deserves it. So he will turn on you like that, bro. Like that. He doesn't care. If he gets to be VP, he gets all the adulation. He gets all the love. That's all a guy like him needs. So there you have it. J.D. Vance is the choice. Makes no sense politically. Makes no sense substantively. Clearly, this is just an instance of somebody Trump trusts very much really pushed him aggressively, and that's why.
Like, for crying out loud, when Trump picked Pence in 2016, that was a smart choice, because that got all the evangelicals on his side, because they didn't like they were on Ted Cruz's side in 2016. Pence was a smart choice. This is not the smart choice. Haley would have been the smart choice, especially since she cucked to him. Oh my god. Fucking pathetic. So yeah, what do you guys say about that? Absolutely terrible choice for VP. Not just because we disagree with him, but because he's a grifter and he hurts Trump in the polls. Because, let's see, it's been almost 2 weeks since this was announced. He has polled so terribly. He actually rivals Kamala in terms of negative approval for a potential vice president nominee. Like, that's how bad he is. Never, I don't think there's ever been a vice president pick that's been this badly polled before they even became vice president. That's how bad it is.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have to say about that.
Oh, yeah. He's one of the worst, and he's, up there with Dave Rubin and Candace Owens as some of the biggest grifters in the world.
Yeah, you can't trust them or believe in people.
Nope.
Terrible option. So, yeah, on to the next option now.
Compilation of Trump being brain dead.
Oh, and by the way, now that Biden's dropped out, people, you know what that means? Biden is the most oldest person in the race, and he's so old, he's so brain dead, that means he must drop out. You all bully Biden out? Let's bully Trump out. You're too old, pal, and you're brain dead. Now get out of here.
And you're retarded.
That? Yes. And we're not going to stop pointing out. So, Trump, get out of the race. You're too old, you're too brain dead, and you're too fascistic. How about that one? So yeah, we're never going to shove about that one because he sucks. And of course people act like, Trump is never brain dead. He's so smart and everything. Oh yeah? Well, watch this compilation that Kyle showed us and you'll die laughing and showing just how stupid he is and brain dead, just like Biden was.
So with Joe Biden dropping out of the presidential race, look, all the focus on like age and mental deterioration, that's now shifted. Right? I mean, I think you can make an argument it's gone away for people who aren't very familiar with how Trump's been suffering a little bit with similar stuff.
How does no one not know? Oh, that's right. We all know. It's just people refuse to accept it, which are Trumpsters.
Now and be focused solely on Trump.
Everyone else, though, we see how brain dead Trump is.
Trump has been able to override the fact that he often has cognitive failure moments with his charisma, right? Like, he has the ability...
What charisma?
He talks loudly,
I don't see no charisma.
He has no filter. And so, that gives, like, the impression of coherence, even if sometimes he's not, right? But I'm going to give you a couple examples here of how he has actually been struggling cognitively, and then I'll ask you whether or not the age thing and the cognitive issues are now in a problem, but solely for Trump, and now no longer on the Democratic side, since the Democratic candidate is now much younger and her brain works. So here we go. Let's start with this one right here. You're just going to see, this is him fucking up like 1,000 different names. Here we go.
I think you should take a cognitive test like I did. I took a cognitive test, and I aced it. Dr. Ronnie Johnson. Does everyone know Ronnie Johnson?
A few seconds after he said he passed the cognitive test, he got someone's name wrong multiple times already.
From Texas. He was the White House doctor. How good
Nobody gonna beat me. No person, woman, man, camera, TV.
JP, right? J.D. Mandel.
He can't even get J.D. Vance's name right. J.D. Vandal. Or J.P. Vandal.
He's doing great. Jimmy Connors is good. He's also happy. Mike Bolton, John Bolton.
Mike Bolton.
There's progress today. I look forward to solving it.
It was Trump.
He called Kevin McCarthy Steve.
Rick Gates' fault.
Matt Gates is Rick Gates.
By the way, they never reported
He did it twice.
January 6th. You know, Nikki Haley.
He called Pelosi Nikki Haley 3 times in a row. Listen how brain dead he is, people.
When does he mix up Hillary Clinton? Doesn't he mix up Hillary Clinton and someone else?
Yes, I think they even brought up too.
I might have even been up Hillary Clinton and Kamala Harris.
We're only like 1 minute in, people, and look how brain dead he already is. Like, come on.
Things like Nikki Haley is in charge.
4
We
times!
offered her 10,000 people. We have some of our great business leaders, and leaders, period, right behind me. I may ask Marilyn Lockheed.
God, he's so
He does that all the
stupid.
time. He'll say their first name and then just say the name of the company as if that's their last name. This is incredible. He does it with, remember Tim Apple?
God, he's so
Yes,
retarded.
please, Mr. Kurd.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much for your time.
You know what was interesting?
He said Mr. Kurd because the guy was Kurdish? What the fuck?
Appreciate it very much, Tim Apple. Yes, please, Mr. Kurd.
Thank you very much for your
Mr. Kurd.
Oh my God, he is so
He's a
stupid,
Kurdish
people.
reporter.
Yeah,
Maybe
he, yep.
Mr.
He
This is
is.
your
He's not right.
this
He's
is your
Kurd.
nominee,
Oh my God.
people.
I never
for
saw this.
Yeah.
You know what
Republicans.
was interesting?
He seems pretty
Joe
brain dead to
Biden
me.
Won against
Yeah.
Hussein.
Definitely.
Has anyone ever heard of him?
Arrest their leading political
He said
leading violence.
Biden was running against Obama. Fucking idiot.
Including Obama. I'll tell you what.
He got
take a look at
Obama confused with
take a
Biden
look at some of the
twice.
things that he's done.
Putin, you know, has so little respect for Obama that he started to go around the nuclear.
He fought Biden with Obama 3 times now.
He did this for, remember, he would always mess up
Oh my
Biden for Obama.
God.
Thanks for giving your first comment.
This is literally Trump Biden, guys, but Trump, which you all deny.
Joe Bright.
He called Dan Bongino Joe. I love that.
Joe
Especially
Bride.
if you get a Dan Bongino. Like, I'm happy you pronounced Dan Bongino's name to his face. Or
He's
said it
so
wrong.
Maybe Joe
stupid.
Biden or
This guy thinks
something.
he's like a big player in the MAGA movement, and Trump's like, who the fuck are
Does he
you?
really?
You're
This
a
is
flea on
literally
my
Biden
ass.
people.
This guy
Yeah.
is just the worst. So
God, he's so dumb.
For president against you. Prime Minister, you heard. Bet you know. Maybe
He couldn't even get BB's name right.
Yo.
Wow. And he's a hardcore
President
scientist.
Hitler, yeah.
he's been so incredible in so many ways. He fights so hard. He loves his state. He loves the people.
What a great way to wake up this
A new
morning
branch of
with
the
this.
United States military, United
Yeah.
States Armed Forces, called Air Force. I never talked about.
God, he is
The
so
Air Force, brand new. We got
stupid.
this thing called the Air Force. I started it.
That's something we never talked about. But what we just saw, we just left pleasure. And a very big hello
We just
to a
left
place
pleasure,
where we did
said
very well. Sioux Falls.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Sioux Falls. Thank you.
Oh my God.
So, Sioux City, let me ask you. And the worst president in the history of our country who is cognitively impaired.
That's
we would
you.
be in World
Yeah.
War II.
Oh, we would be in World War
The
II.
history of our country will be a fading nightmare. There'll be a fading. I have fading memory.
You do have
Remember when
fading
he was
memory
talking
because you're
about,
fucking
what was the Revolutionary War,
retarded.
the Civil War, and
Yep.
They
That was
ran the
great.
ramparts. They took over the airports. They did everything they had to do.
And that's only like 1%. No, not even
Look, he's got a lot of these
0.1%.
moments too. All right, I'm not done. I'm not done. We got another one here.
The Nazis, the invasion of Normandy, and the liberation.
Liberal.
Bullshit.
Traveled far. Really big beneficiaries. Whole state to be a sanctuary for
Sanctuary.
He said sanctuary, bro.
He is so stupid.
Look,
Yeah.
wait, the members.
What? That was a real like brain shitting the bed and rebooting moment. Let me see that one again. I like that one. Hold on. I remember that moment. I remember when that happened, and it didn't take off as much as I thought it would. But he's like, he's trying to say something, and then his brain just resets, and he's like, look. Here we go. To be fair, look, I have these moments too. I definitely have these moments too. But again, whether it's Biden or in this case Trump, it's like, you have a lot of them, bro. You have a lot of them. Here, watch the one where his brain reboots again.
Shield and shelter, criminal. Look. The members.
God, he's
Oh, it was
stupid.
like, I'm not gonna nail this. Let me
Yeah.
just
We
reset.
told you all
Look.
since 2015 he was stupid, and here's more proof of
You
it.
understand that very well.
Yeah.
And the internet, if you think about this, rich transition, the traditions of this.
Oh my God.
Expectations in the
Peninsula.
House for the midtown
Yep.
and midterm year. Waive all applicable state taxes despite these obstacles, Karen. The Central Command.
Despite these obstacles, Karen. Remember when he couldn't say origins, and he would say oranges? Is it the oranges?
Origins!
The oranges.
Like Key of Origin in Hoenn.
Yep.
And the crisis response.
Learn Pokemon, people. You'll understand words better.
Roosevelt, as Hurricane Amber approaches. And he voted for Obama.
Classic can't get Obama's name right.
sleazebag lawyer named Aviante.
That's
Oh my God.
I like that one too. Because Michael
Yeah.
Avenatti never deserved anybody's respect. He should have never been put on TV. And Trump, Aviante. Look, I think a small percentage of these he's doing it on purpose, right? Like the Aviante one seems like a way of just being disrespectful. Like I don't even know your name, bitch, right? But 98% of them are just he can't do it.
Because he's stupid.
Is all about
Will not be tolerated any longer.
Merry Christmas.
Hey, I remember that.
Everybody, we just have to say it. You know,
Yeah.
we just said another sock rocker. You saw that, right? The sock.
Slog rocket. Come on, I love that.
Just said another stock rocket. You saw that, right? The stock market and to replace
Stock market
chasms
into
of this
slot
life.
rocket.
Chasms, the word is
Hoisted upon the American people.
And then they announced there was nobody's no.
Seek real bipartisan solutions.
Made a pivotal, really
Bipartisan solution, can't even say.
Authorized the 9 elected, 11 victims.
In
9
April
elective.
2014, Army manned it ran the ramparts.
These historic accomplishments shades
They didn't do the
Oh
take over
my
the airport part. That's the
gosh.
best part.
And the ramparts.
These historic accomplishments.
And that's
shades
when he
our embassies
killed
in Kenya
Soleimani.
and Tanzania.
It's great to
Yeah.
be back in Missouri, Ghana,
Missouri.
Zambia.
Jews.
He can't get Libya's name right either.
By Venezuela.
He can't get Venezuela's name right 3 times in a row.
Jews. Thank the Minneapolis police.
Can't even say Minneapolis.
Venezuela.
Yep.
Working to improve this country and the government.
Oh.
The United States. Thank you very much.
He can't even say
This is when, like,
states
his
and
teeth
United
fell out of his
States.
mouth. Does he have dentures or something? He's like, the United States. Listen again.
To improve this country and the government. And God bless the United States. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Shades.
Yeah, so look, I'll ask you.
Oh
so
my
first of all,
gosh.
are these mess ups because he's like just not that smart, right? Like,
Yes,
that's
he's
possible.
not smart
That's
either.
possible. He's just not that bright, and so he
And he's
fucks up
brain
these things
dead.
like all the fucking time. It could be that, or is it age related? Is it age related? So I'll let you guys talk about that in the comment section. I don't know. I feel like with him, it's probably a mix of both. I feel like it's a mix of both. I feel like it's just,
He's
you know,
genuinely stupid, but he's
he's just not that
also
bright.
Brain
a
dead.
brain-dead
And
fucktard.
He's also really old
Like
now.
Biden.
And
Yep.
you know, when you're his age, I mean, shit. I feel it, and I'm fucking 36. Like, if you have the president's schedule, and a lot of that was from when he was president.
I wonder how it feels for these two knowing that there's someone by the name of Bernie who's older than both of them, but is smarter and intellectually superior to all of them.
Yeah.
And it's not
Same
brain
book.
dead.
Yeah.
Schedule. You gotta be in a million
Exactly.
different places at once. You got so many meetings, so many interviews, so many speeches, and like it catches up to you, right? And there's gonna come moments where, you're just really fucking tired or whatever, and you're like barely getting through the speech, reading it off the teleprompter, slurring your words, type shit. I also think, you guys know, I also think he takes uppers. I don't know which. Could be Adderall, could be something else. But when the uppers wear off, you can kind of get a little slurry and sound bad. And so I don't know if it's just age. I don't know if it's he's just not being that bright. I don't know if it was the immense schedule of the presidency. But does this now become more front and center since Biden's gone? And Kamala, for all of her problems, she's relatively young. And, you know, I've been seeing her speeches
She's
lately,
not brain dead,
and
which is a
they've been
major
pretty fucking on point.
positive
Yeah.
for her.
Like, you don't get almost any
Yeah.
of these sorts of moments that Biden gave us all the time. Like, every time he was in public. And now Trump, when you go back and look through it, he
Trump
did a
always
lot
had
too.
these moments
And this
too,
is
just people never
like,
cover
when I
them. They
give
only
you
cover
which is so,
Biden.
like the mispronounced names and words.
Yep.
There's so many examples of other things that make absolutely no sense, where he like humiliates himself. But we could save that for another day. But anyway, I don't know. This might now be a big issue and focused solely on
Biden's
Trump.
too.
Hey, y'all, do me a
Trump's
favor
too
and like
old,
and subscribe.
people.
It helps
He
out
has
big
to
time
drop
in the
out. He's
algorithm.
too brain dead. Hate
Yep.
to break the news to you. Sorry, he sucks and all that. So
He
yeah.
sucks and blows.
Oh man, that was like one of the funniest things we've seen on the show.
Yeah.
So we gotta say about all those times of Trump being
Oh,
so stupid.
so many. It's so funny. He's
It was
such an
great.
idiot.
He is so great.
Yeah.
It's so great how hilariously stupid he is, enough to laugh at him. Now, of course, unlike us, who got rid of Biden because he was so brain dead and senile. Now, how about you Trumpsters get rid of Trump because he's so brain dead senile? Oh, it's right, because you're all partisan hacks and you don't actually care about.
You're all Trump. No, it's no longer the Republican Party. It's now the Trump Party.
And prove that it was never about Biden being too old or brain dead. You were just partisan hacks because you won't go after your guy because he was so bad. So, yeah.
Exactly.
Expose yourselves as idiots as always. Oh my god, that was hilarious. So now, what's next?
And that will be Republicans being Nazis and misogynists to Kamala Harris.
Now we gotta go from laughing to getting angry. So of course, guys, ever since Kamala became pretty much the front runner for the Democratic nomination, she's gotten the exact same treatment pretty much Obama has, plus the sexism, and she's gotten to deal with the racism too.
She's basically copying everything Obama copped and everything Hillary copped.
Yep.
That was not reasonable.
Even Hillary didn't get anywhere near the misogynist except Kamala did. That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
But she's gotten the worst treatment of... Honestly, she's been treating worse than Biden, for crying out loud. At least people won't call him brain dead. I mean, that's true. But this shit, oh my gosh. This is wild. So, of course, they've done so many... The Republicans and conservatives online and such... All they could bring up that she's a DEI candidate. Of course, exposing your racism because you think anyone who's a minority can't earn their spot. And that, oh my god, so many, like, sexual... They always put her, like, sexualized situations and insinuate that she's blowing people to get in power.
For fuck's sake, I remember that.
Oh my fucking god.
Yes.
Disgusting little shit.
All right, y'all, welcome to the show. I got an incredible one
crap
for you today. I am really
And Kyle, for the love of God, how many times we gotta tell you to stop doing an intro?
So let's start with this. Republicans have been losing their minds.
Fucking a minute and a half before the intro goes.
They've been seething. They've been embarrassing and humiliating.
Oh yeah, I wanted to bring this up too when Biden dropped out, but of course Republicans have had a complete meltdown about Kamala replacement because now we can't make fun of Biden anymore. We can't beat him, even though we weren't probably going to beat him either.
Gating themselves.
We'll just be racist and misogynistic because we have nothing else to say.
Which is kind of amazing because honestly, Biden's the worst in terms of likely to win on the Democratic side.
I don't know about that, Kyle. I think there's a lot of other Democrats that are really, really bad, too. And I'm not even fully sure Kamala's necessarily better either yet.
Behind Biden is Kamala, and they're still flailing.
The only thing I can say positive about Kamala is that, hey, she's not brain dead like Biden is, but that's it.
In theory, this is their second best chance to win. I think almost any other Democrat has a better chance, certainly than Biden, and probably a better chance than Kamala.
But but Kyle, of course, I don't think Kyle even covered it, because... Like I said, she's part of the ticket, and she has access to the war chest. It pretty much has to be her.
I don't know what to do. It's amazing watching them just flail around. Okay.
I'm not surprised, because that's all they do. Oh, here we go.
Guys, this is what the right wing is cooking in their lab, bro. This is what the right wing is cooking in their lab.
Harris 2024 with the H being represented by Harris getting on her knees about to blow someone.
Fucktards.
Again, misogyny, it's all you got, people. That's all you got. Which, hey, you know what? I strongly encourage you to keep doing that because guess what? You lose votes when you do it. So please, keep being racist and misogynist. You got our full endorsement on that. Please do it.
Yep.
And then we can laugh at you. And not only that, it makes our job defending her easier, too, because that's all you guys got.
Just listening audio podcast style. It's basically the outline.
Remember how easy it was to defend Obama back in the 2010s? I sure do. When all they could bring up is that he's from Kenya and all that. It was so
Harris
easy.
2024. Now what they're trying to allude to is that at the beginning of Kamala's career, she had an affair with this guy Willie Brown, an elected official, and they say she used that to climb the ladder, and so it's totally illegitimate that she ever got any position of power at all. And
what about all the elections afterwards? I mean, she was senator. She had to have gotten votes for that, and she was part of Biden's campaign, so she did have some help getting votes for her and Biden to get elected, and likewise, she's gonna have to work to get all the votes coming up in November.
Affair with Willie Brown? Sure.
Like, stop assuming everything's about sex.
Is that really relevant in the year of our Lord 2024 after she's already
According
been
to Republicans, yes, because they're evil.
And they're misogynistic.
California, a U.S. senator and vice president of the United States for 4 years. I don't think this attack is going to land. Look, the problem with everything that you're about to see with all these attacks
like us.
is that they're just normie repellent. Normies are not. This is not going to make normies go, oh yes,
who normally would
for
support Republicans, but can't because Trump. And thank you. This is going to make her even more likely to support Kamala now.
Sane and rational Republicans who are cooking up pictures like this in the lab. Okay, here we go. We're just getting started. So this guy, Dom Lucre, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with him. He's a big right-wing account. He says, For all the black women that say you're voting for Kamala Harris because she reflects you, here is her husband.
Being against interracial marriages, of course. Racism, too, in that regard. One shows blacks can be racist, too. And also, there's nothing wrong if she married someone who's white. Stop crying like
God,
racist
you know what I was watching yesterday?
Oh, no.
The shark debate with that guy who was basically doing the 14 words, but for black people instead of white people.
I only saw, like, the first 5 minutes of it earlier. Like, what part does it get really... Is it really bad?
It is.
Like,
it is. And he's flip-flopping. He's like, I'm not saying that. I'm just basically saying that.
Oh,
and
God.
It's like, oh, my God. It is torture.
Where is the part so I can watch it later? Oh, God.
I'll have to find that.
Oh, jeez.
I'll have to find it eventually.
But yeah, guys. Like, unfortunately, there is a lot of racism in the black community, too. Especially with, like, interracial couples. But it's not going to convince most people. And no one cares that she married a white man. I don't care. You don't care. No one who's not racist doesn't care. So stop.
And as you can see, Kamala's husband is white.
Boo-hoo!
And he thinks this is a gotcha. He thinks black women all across the country are going to look at this and say, oh no, she married a white guy. Now I can never vote for her.
I guess I have to be offended too because you're white. You married a black woman. I can't vote for her now. I don't care. Most people don't care, people. Stop.
Yeah.
Why would you think that? Why would you think that?
But hey, like I said...
It's because they're misogynistic and just about basically Nazis, quite a few of them.
And hey, we strongly encourage you all to be that way because it'll make it more likely we win. So please, go right ahead.
Yep.
Like, the implication is...
Go ahead.
Make it easier for us, and we can enjoy for the next few months laughing at you. And then, hey, if she wins and is president for the next 4 to 8 years, it'll be a lot easier to defend her if that's all you got is racism. Oh, boy, that's going to be fun.
Race mixing is bad. Interracial marriage is bad. It's 2024. The overwhelming majority of people are going to be like, what's the problem? I don't see a problem here. Again, this is the best you guys got? She has a white husband, therefore she's disqualified?
And as she sucked dick all the way to the top.
Oh my God.
That's all they got.
Like,
that's all they
think
have.
about it like this. Trump married Melania. Melania's an immigrant. Trump
but see, that's Trump, so that's A-okay, don't you know?
From voting for Trump? No. Why would it stop Democrats
Plus we're
from voting
jealous
for Kamala
because she's waifu material
who cares?
from a
oh
manga.
My God.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going. So Laura Loomer,
and we look up hentai of her.
Deranged, demented, and
oh no, not Laura Loomer. Oh no, did you see this on Twitter? Oh God. Now imagine how I felt waking up seeing this. Oh my God, this is absolutely disgusted. But
yeah.
Guys, this is like the lowest of the low you're gonna get. Oh God, here we go.
Yeah.
Far right
this
weirdos.
This
online.
is anger-inducing.
She comes out and says the following. I love this. I love how she thinks she's like,
"Fuck you, Laura Loomer, too, you cunt."
She's
fuck you.
Like she's dropping truth bombs on everybody. It's time for Republicans to start talking about Kamala Harris's sexual history and the reason why she likely doesn't have any children of her own. I'm willing to bet she's had so many abortions that she damaged her uterus. Okay, can we just acknowledge that she totally made that up?
I don't even think that's even realistic either. I think that's shit Republicans make up all the time, as always.
She totally made that up.
As they always do.
Like, one of the stupid arguments they make that abortion caused breast cancer, too. One of the pseudo bullshit they made up.
Oh my fucking God.
I think that was one of them.
Abortion causes everything negative, according to these retards.
Throw evidence for that. And
of course, get to the point. She had abortions. I don't know, nor do I care. It has no sway on me. And then, she doesn't have any kids. Well, first off, she has stepkids. So unless she's
a step up, she's not a step mum. She's a stepped up mum.
Yeah, but of course, demonization of step parents. Don't you know? Big deal. And even if she didn't have kids, stepkids, or whatever, I don't care. There's nothing wrong, especially with women not having kids. And like we said before, like with Charlie Kirk's misogynistic meltdown, the Taylor Swift, they never, and I mean never, bring this up with men. It's only women. Only women.
Yep.
Name one time Republicans ever criticized a man for not having kids. Never. You will not find, because they don't care. It's only women they go after.
She's just like wish casting a bunch of abortions onto Kamala Harris. What are you doing? What kind of a fucking freak are you? She continues, a woman who has no biological children of her own should not be allowed to make decisions in the White House for your children.
I'm sure you don't have kids either, and guess what? I wouldn't want you near anyone's kids because you're a freak. How about that one?
Republicans need to run with this messaging and ask why a woman with no kids of her own and just a scarred-up uterus is so obsessed with wanting to kill your babies. God. Kamala has zero...
Now imagine a woman saying that about other women, too. I wonder if I should show that to my mom in the morning. I wonder how your mom would feel about this one. Rage-induced?
Investment in the future, but she wants to determine our future. I have to admit...
Shut up, Laura Loomer.
That single people can't have good ideas. And married people with biological kids of their own, they're guaranteed to have good ideas. That's the implication here.
Yeah, because Trump's always had a good idea in his life.
I could find
no.
hundreds of thousands of single people who agree more with Republican politics.
Unfortunately, there are single people that do like Trump. We can't deny that.
Who agree more with my politics, with left politics. Why would you think that this is a good point?
Because conservatives only care about controlling women.
Or single, or have biological kids, or your
to the point even
stepmom
conservative
or stepdad,
women say misogynistic crap because they hate
themselves.
themselves.
Of what your political beliefs are. I can't believe they think this is a gotcha. It is truly staggering.
But hey, please,
truly,
I encourage you, keep saying this. Please do it.
I don't even know what to do.
Don't make it more likely we win. Please do it.
I agree. Republicans lean into this. This will turn off every single normal person in the country. This will turn off every independent, every moderate, every apolitical person. You guys are way too deep in your own bubble.
That's why we wanted to keep talking about it.
Way too deep in your own bubble.
It's like the same crap with Obama. All you guys kept doing was just racism, racism, and racism. Birtherism everywhere. That's all you got.
As she wants to kill your babies?
Yep.
Yeah, Kamala probably would implement policies that would help kids after they're born and all that, whereas you all want them to die?
Okay, you're fighting on your weakest ground. Your weakest ground is your guys' take on abortion. Don't believe me? Look at the last couple election cycles since Roe v. Wade was overturned. Look at all the special elections. Democrats
pro-choice side wins every time.
Because you guys are viewed as extremists. Because you don't buy the 2020 election, right? You're still election denialists, and you're anti-Roe v. Wade. And people have seen the fruits of that. They've seen people who've been raped or minors who need an abortion, and they can't get abortion. They have to travel somewhere else. They see the laws popping up where in some states they're saying, you're not allowed to travel to another state to get an abortion if you live in our red state. God, she's so stupid.
Oh! You want to know something really funny? I was really curious. I was just looking up. Gee, she says all this stuff. I wonder if she's married and has kids. So I looked up, and guess what? She's Laura Loomer's unmarried and not have any kids. So Laura Loomer, hey Laura, by your logic, we can't hear you anymore because you don't have kids. So you have no naked, so you can go fuck off. How about that one?
Yes, Republicans take her advice. And by the way, thank you, Elon Musk. Because Elon Musk bought Twitter. Now all this right-wing garbage is front and center in front of everybody's face.
Oh, here we go.
And this is going to turn off every normie in the country. And by the way, these arguments now, since the right-wing nonsense is so front and center, it's going to influence Republican politicians to agree with this right-wing nonsense, and then they're going to shoot themselves in the foot by being too extreme.
Todd Aiken, if it's a legitimate rape, the female bodies have way to shut the whole thing down. Remember that one, people?
I remember that,
He lost 30 points because of that comment.
All right, more. So this video is old, to be fair, but this is J.D. Vance.
Oh, here we go. Oh, here's another. Hey, here's another reason why you shouldn't vote for J.D. Vance, because he's a misogynistic too. Oh boy, are you ready for this one?
Trump calls him J.P. Mandel. And he's going to give you his thoughts on people like Kamala Harris, single women. Watch this.
We're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of childless cat ladies who are miserable at their own...
Childish cat ladies.
Yeah, one of the most sexist stereotypes in the universe.
This isn't The Simpsons, pal.
Own lives and the choices that they made, and so they want to make the rest of the country miserable too. And it's just
And are you implying women have cats are bad or something? Nothing wrong with cats. Cats are awesome.
Basic fact. You look at Kamala Harris,
Wait. I think J.D. Vance must have just outed himself as a creeper now. not only just a creeper, but a literal one, too.
Buttigieg, AOC, the entire future of the Democrats is controlled by
I guess you
people
won't like
without
seeing cats
children.
around. You better start running for your life.
We've turned our country over to people who don't really have a direct stake in it.
Unbelievable.
Shut up. Every American has a stake in America being better, you stupid fuck. Just because you don't have kids, where it doesn't negate that, stupid bastard.
Goes, guys, we're run by the corporate oligarchy. True. And he goes, yeah, the childless cat ladies. What? Guys, we have numbers on this. We have statistics on this. We know that at the top of the corporate world, and most of the billionaires, they're overwhelmingly men, overwhelmingly white. They're not fucking childless cat ladies.
Affirmative
also, by the way, again, it's like he's purposely trying to lose the female vote in this country. I swear, that's what it's like. Think about how many, not just single women, but also single men there are in this country. And this whole thing is like him going like this. Hey, fuck you, we don't like you. Okay.
Hey, I don't like you either, let's go.
Votes over to the Democrats. This is unhinged. This is the dumbest political commentary I've ever heard in my life. Going after the corporate oligarchy and then pretending the corporate oligarchy is childless cat ladies? Oh my god. All right.
Can you imagine how funny it would be if they said this to Mayumi?
Oh my god. She would probably kill them.
With her tarantulas.
Yes.
So then we get this. Oh, you're going to love this. So one of the things we learned is that Kamala Harris is not going to go to Netanyahu's speech in front of Congress.
And you know what? Good for her on that regard. Fuck that warmonger, genocidal piece of shit.
Good.
Yeah.
By the way, there's, as of right now, there's a little over 50 Democrats who are not going to go, and I hope that number goes up.
It was actually over, like half of the Democrats in the House that didn't go. So that's like almost half of the House in Congress that didn't go to him, which, good. He sucks. Come fuck you, basically.
Now, what she's trying to do politically, which I don't agree with this, but she's trying to split the difference. So she's saying, I'm not going to go to his speech, but I will meet with him for a little bit at the White House. Okay.
Well, I mean, to be fair, she is part of the administration, so she kind of has to be fair.
Again, I don't like that.
Yep.
Don't meet with the war criminal. Bad idea. But what she's trying to
Kyle,
do,
like I said, she's part of the administration. She really doesn't have probably much of a choice otherwise.
Politically cover her ass. Hey, I'm not going to go to the speech, but I'll talk to him. So trying to give out a sense of like neutrality, right? Not being a simp to Netanyahu like Joe Biden has been. Well, to the right, they're furious. Why are they furious?
Because they've called her anti-Semitic. Have you seen that now?
Yeah.
Because she's not going to the speech.
Everything's anti-Semitic.
Launching unhinged attacks over this. Here we go. This is Lindsey Graham.
This is an astounding bad decision not to appear behind Bibi as Vice President of the United States. This is a signal to Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran that we literally do not have Bibi's back. This is really her first major foreign policy decision, and she's gotten an F.
Yeah.
No, she does not get an F. She gets a B. It would be an A+ if she didn't go to the speech and she didn't talk to him at all, right? But it's a B because at least she knows, hey, Netanyahu is in the tank for Republicans, and he's also a fucking genocidal war criminal, and I'm not going to go ahead and...
Yes, I've seen a lot of people cover. She actually maybe is better on the Palestinian issue than Biden is, but how much better, I don't know. I mean, that would be a major positive because that was the main thing that hurt Biden more than him being brain dead.
Being the same.
At least among progressives.
He says she gets an F because she didn't want to meet with a genocidal war criminal, or excuse me, didn't want to go to the speech of a genocidal war criminal. Fox and Friends also were attacking her for this. Guys, they literally don't know what to do. They don't know what to do with Kamala.
And I don't know about outside of the Democrats, but in the Democratic Party, that argument won't work at all. It might that might be the more effective option and bring up her being a woman or minority to like other people, but it's not gonna work with the Democrats. Sorry.
Yeah.
If anything, that will help her.
I'm astonished by this because my thinking was if it's Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, or Gavin Newsom, they have their lines of attack ready and they're gonna lean into them and they got it. It turns out the only person they seemingly had their attacks down for was Joe Biden.
It's Biden, yeah.
It's not even, they didn't have any attacks on Biden. He was just so brain dead he turned people away from voting for him. Now, of course, I still think he would have still won because Trump would have repelled people so much more that people just like, fuck it, we'll just vote for the senile old man just to keep Trump out, like me. But that, I mean, you didn't even really need an attack on him. You could just say Biden was brain dead and old, and that was more convincing, because when it comes to policies, all you guys say he's a communist and all that and such. That doesn't work. That's all you got.
Well, now I don't even know if they had the attacks ready for Gavin Newsom. If they're not ready for Kamala, maybe they weren't ready for Gavin Newsom. But, like...
They were not ready for any of them, Kyle.
You're failing this test? So Russell Brand, you guys know he's done his whole transition lately. Not just his political transition.
Oh god, he's gonna get into that conspiracy theory. There's a conspiracy theory, people, that there's a coup in the Democratic Party to throw Biden out to replace him with Kamala to fuck Trump over.
For fuck's sakes.
No, she's part of the campaign. So if Biden drops out, it makes perfect sense for her to take over. And also, are you implying that Biden cannot be forced to cannot drop out if he wants to? Are you saying he should be forced to stay the nominee if he doesn't want to? That seems undemocratic. And also
very undemocratic.
And also seems very authoritarian to force someone to do something they don't want to do. Maybe you don't believe in freedom like we do.
Yep.
Also, his religious transition. Remember,
go over to Russia and China if you want forced stuff. How about that?
Yep.
What is it? Did he just become a generic Christian, or did he become a Catholic?
Plus, he doesn't support Ukraine here, so it would make perfect sense for him to go over to Russia.
Yeah,
I don't remember, but one or the other, right? So he does this whole religious thing. He gets baptized, and also at the same time, this goes hand in hand with him politically. He went from being like a socialist left-winger to being an anti-establishment left-winger to then being sort of like an enlightened centrist, and now he's almost fully gone, the right-wing hack. The
maybe Russell Brand is
that sort of thing.
Grifton.
So he comes
Russell
out and
Brand's an imbecile, so...
Grifton.
If Kamala Harris... I'm not
yep,
going to do
he's a grifter!
Damn, we got so many grifters on the right.
If Kamala Harris is to be the new pick in the bait and switch, find the lady cup and ball trick that we are being offered in lieu of democracy, we already know she's a socially inept and empty instrument of intransigent institutional power, solely offering cutaneous and genetic novelty to a famished pack of secularist devotees, so bewildered that melatonin and an X chromosome could represent to them some
assuming
kind
that
of Pyrrhic victory.
People are only going to vote for her because she's a minority woman, which, to be fair, there are people in the Democratic Party that will vote for her because of that.
Melatonin?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we expect. You think conservatives can write or spell stuff?
Nope. I love that he stuffed it up.
Yep. But of course, now like I said, there are people in the Democratic Party that will vote for her because she's a minority woman, but most people that vote for her don't care about that. Even among Democrats.
Russell.
I would tell you the majority of people are voting for her, it's going to be because to keep Trump out, which I'm a part of that too.
Yep.
Then it's going to be people because they actually like her and agree with her. And third at the bottom of the list is going to be because she's a minority woman. That's going to be like near the bottom of it.
I'm going to need you to go ahead and reel it in, dog. I'm not sure I've ever seen anything more embarrassing than this. First of all,
no, don't reel it in. Let him keep going. Please keep going.
Why are you purposefully trying to use
we strongly encourage conservatives to become stupider and stupider. That helps us. Please.
There's nobody that read this and on the first go-around was like, yes.
Plus, it's funny to us.
Smart. It's, you're trying to sound like you're deep and profound, but you're really just doing the trick where I'm going to throw in some big words to make you think I'm saying something deep and profound. And guys, he confused melatonin with melanin. He said melatonin.
Yep. Melatonin and melanin. That is
shit you take to go to sleep at night. I take them all the time, by the way. I have a strawberry one. Put it under my tongue. It melts and you feel sleepy very quickly. Melatonin is naturally produced in the brain. It's like the sleepiness chemical. But I take some to help me get to sleep. He confused melanin and melatonin. And by the way, he brings up an X chromosome. Men have X chromosomes too. Oh, this is so embarrassing.
Republicans knowing anything
like
about
the whole vibe of this is
health
like
stuff?
She represents the establishment. She's an empty instrument of intransigent institutional power. A normal way of saying that is she represents the establishment. That's what he's saying.
I mean, she probably does.
Yeah, what about Donald Trump? Got any thoughts on him?
Yes, he does too.
Or do you still buy into the absolute fucking fantasy that he's some outsider who's crusading for the little guy? Jesus Christ, man. Oh my God. All right. Then let's get to this one, Right Wing Watch. This Christian nationalist guy, Lance Wallnow. Let's see what he has to say.
She represents something which I believe is probably the amalgam of the spirit of Jezebel in a way that'll be even.
Oh
even more
no! Now we're
ominous
getting to
than
the
Hillary.
religious crap
Because
about
she'll be a racial
Kamala.
component.
No,
She's
you did this. You guys did this
And
with
so,
Obama for crying out
this is
loud.
gonna
Come on.
This is going to be a real thing to rise above that. So in the spirit, as a Christian,
Do you feel like
I'm
you're back in the
describing to you warfare on
2010s?
two levels, right?
She represents
Yes.
Jezebel. He basically
You
is
remember
admitting,
these
look,
arguments?
She's black and she's a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Are
got
they
a
as
problem
dumb as they
here.
were back then?
Yep.
God.
Are you
Ken
looking
Clements, he
for
made a great
potentially
point.
8 years
He's
of
like,
this again?
One huge advantage Kamala has is just her very existence.
Hey, it'll make our job a lot
bakes
easier
the
having to
right
defend Kamala
into
if
saying
that's the case.
absurd things and overreaching
Yeah.
philosophy. And that helps her, right? It helps her. It did, look, it's very similar to what we saw with Obama. The types of attacks that they would levy at
The
Obama
birther movement.
would be like, man, you guys
Yep.
are fucking reaching. There's plenty to actually attack.
Because you're
but they
all
don't attack the
racist.
real shit. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of
Oh, here we
Obama,
go. Here's the birther crap
birtherism,
about Kamala now. Here we
misinformation,
go.
already
Here
going
we
strong
go.
against Kamala
Here we go.
I knew they were going. I didn't think the people were saying, "Oh, her parents are in America, because so she can't be American citizen, be president." I thought they were just going to have to just assume she's from Kenya too, like they did with Obama.
I wonder why. I wonder
Yep.
why all of a sudden birtherism is back for Kamala.
I wonder why.
incorrectly
I
claiming
can't figure it
she's
out.
Yeah.
Can you?
Reminder that Kamala
Yep.
Harris is not constitutionally eligible to be either president or vice president and is currently illegally serving as VP.
Cap.
Kamala Harris isn't even
Yep,
eligible to be
absolute
president of the
crap.
United States, in case
It's just
you were wondering.
racism.
Yep.
There will be a lawsuit that goes to the Supreme Court over if Kamala Harris is eligible to be president. The
She
president
is.
considered a natural-born citizen as someone
Yep,
who was born
she
in America
is.
with one parent as a citizen.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. Natural born citizen just means you're born in America. That's it.
Exactly.
Or, of course, if you do have parents that are Americans. But she meets one of the requirements. So, yeah, she's a natural born citizen, unlike Chank, of course. So, yeah, she's eligible.
The lawsuit isn't about
And
if
she's
she
over
is a citizen
35,
because she obviously
and she's been in America for the last 14 years. So, yeah, she meets all the requirements.
the lawsuit will be about the definition of
Just like
natural-born
just
citizen.
like Obama. I know
Kamala
you're not
Harris
going to like it,
was
but
born
Obama
to
did
parents who were
too.
non-citizens at her time of birth.
Yep.
Therefore, she is not a natural-born citizen and eligible
Cap.
for the office of president.
Yep.
Back. The dumbest, most unhinged.
No, Kyle, no, it's not just dumb. It's just flat out racism. All of you people
Exactly,
that
yes.
said that Obama was not born in America, well, you're just racist. That's all there is to
Exactly.
it. And same goes here with Kamala. If you're going to use this argument
Yep.
against her, you're just racist. And misogynistic, too.
Hinged attacks
Yep.
that were levied at Obama are now back for Kamala.
We're
Attacks
not.
that are so
We're
unhinged and
not
so
going to
extreme
reason with. We're not
that
going to argue
even
with this people. No,
somebody like
you're
Bill
just wrong
O'Reilly on
and you're
Fox News
racist.
had to
That's
come
the
out
end
and
of it.
chastise
And should be
people
dismissed
Exactly.
on
and say,
sight.
fucking idiots.
Yep.
But hey,
Obama
exactly.
is
But
American.
hey, please
He was
keep
born
going.
in
Don't make it
Hawaii.
easier for us. So
We have
go
his short
right
form
ahead
birth
with your
certificate.
racism,
We have his long
please.
form birth certificate. We
Yep.
have the announcement of his birth in Hawaii. If you're born in the United
Oh my
States,
God! I
of America,
remember back in 2011, Obama had to go for all this birth
Period.
certificate crap. Oh, it was so
So where was
stupid.
Kamala born? Oakland.
I remember that. That is horrible.
Show me your birth certificate.
It's
Here's the
insane
short
what we're
form.
witnessing
Oh, show me the long
Alright, then
form. Here's the
finally,
long
this is
form.
my favorite one. This is
Not
definitely
enough.
my favorite one.
You're not from here.
James
Edward,
Lindsay,
Edward,
the old
Edward.
anti-woke
Yep,
crusader.
that's exactly what
I
they
believe
keep
that's how
doing.
He fancies himself. So he comes out and says this. God, by the way, this tweet thread is like a fucking novel. We're not going to go through all of it because it's the most long-winded claptrap I've ever seen in my life.
Thank you,
He comes out and
elongated
says,
Musgrave.
Let's talk about Kamala Harris saying, to see what can be unburdened by what has been. This phrase, which she repeats all the time, is not mysterious. It's esoteric. That is, it's occult. It's
Oh
a
my
Marxist
God.
and Luciferian incantation, and that's easily seen.
Now they're going
yes.
after her because she uses
Easily seen.
unburden all the
So
time.
his
Oh
argument
my
is pretty much what it looks like
God.
with this first tweet.
Like, yeah,
Um,
okay. The
this
use
thing
of
is a
those
cult.
words is
This thing that she uses
cringe.
is a cult.
It does
So
not
maybe
mean
Kamala
that
was
she's
linked
a
to the occult,
fucking
and also
Jewish
she's clearly a
communist trying to
closet
destroy
Marxist. And,
or trying to genocide the
it's
white
basically-
race.
But
They
she
literally go on
wants
to
to
point out,
because
look
she's
at
a
the hand signal
minority,
she
don't
makes
you
as she
know?
talks. This is similar to
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all minorities want to kill whitey.
That's making a hand signal like
Mhm.
Satanist.
They want to
Luciferian.
outbreed us.
Yep.
What am I going to do with these people, bro? What am I going to do with these people?
I'll tell you what you do, Kyle. You point them out that they're racist and sexist. You encourage them to keep doing the crap they're doing it, and then you laugh when they lose.
Exactly.
That's what we've been doing.
The thing that she says,
Yep.
which became a meme, like, we have to be unburdened by the past or whatever. We have to be able to move into the future and make things better, unburdened by what has been. Like, that's the gist of it.
And she's right about that.
He's trying to argue that you could only say something like that and believe something like that if you're a communist and if you're a Satanist.
Oh, really? Really?
What?
My fellow...
Communism and Satanism.
And he goes
Yeah.
on to point
Yeah. Fuck off.
Yeah, don't you know we got keep remembering the past, my fellow satanic comrade?
Out some,
Yep.
some negative historical figures that believe that. But, what's left out? Oh, I don't know. Maybe that there are many of phenomenal historical figures who also believe that. Martin Luther King believed that, for example. I'm sure Jesus was all
he's
about
black, so they
trying
don't
to
like
make
him. Remember,
things better.
Kyle?
Yep, I remember that.
Like, what's the counter argument? Like, yes, be burdened by the past and don't try to make things better?
Yes.
Like, is that the counter argument?
Yes.
Yes.
God, it's
Yes.
so...
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you, so Joe, what am I supposed to do with these people?
We want to put the
What am I
N-word
supposed
back
to do with these
in
people?
slavery.
And then he had
Oops,
a bunch
actually
of
slipped
lefties
it
dunking
out.
on him, and he came out like,
Yep.
basically like, because lefties are dunking on me,
We
you
want
know
to
I'm
force
onto
women
something,
back
you
in the
know
kitchen.
I'm right
Oh,
about
god dang it, slipped out
Like,
again.
or you said something so
We want
preposterous
to
and so
kill the
absurd
LGBT. Oh
and
my
so
gosh, I can't
laughable
stop
that
controlling
everybody
myself.
Can't help but mock you.
Mm-hmm.
This is the least normie response I've ever seen in my life. If you
Again,
have an attacker,
again, we're not
go
surprised
through her
because
policy
Republicans have been
record,
doing this
pick out
for
ones you
decades
disagree
now.
with, and
It
say,
doesn't
"Here's why
surprise
this
us.
is wrong."
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He jumps right to, she's in the occult, she's Marxist, and she's
This is
a Satanist.
literally the exact same stuff we had to deal with 10 years ago with Obama.
What the fuck, man?
It's stupid then,
Yeah.
it's stupid now.
Holy
Yep.
shit. And this is another guy that has Russell Brand syndrome, where it's like, I'm going to use big words so you think I'm saying things that are really smart, but actually I'm saying the dumbest
just
shit you've
makes
ever
you
heard in your
sound
life. This is
even
what Dennis Miller
stupider.
was the person
At least
who
to
came
us.
up with this. Like, Dennis Miller is a conservative comedian who would talk in sentences that literally nobody understood, and it would make...
Oh, no, you're
conservative
starting to sound
audiences
like
go,
Rafe
"I ain't
Dubin
smart,
there."
bro. I don't even understand, man.
Oh,
And Russell
you
Brand gets in on that,
agree
this
with
guy gets
that.
in on that. It's like, bro, you're not an
Yes,
academic.
because I have
You're
no
not some sort
thoughts,
of
because
genius.
I'm a literal
And the other thing is, these are
NPC.
the same
Because I'm
people
too
who like to
busy
say,
voicing the
"Hey,
new norm.
You need to steel man people's arguments
Yes.
when
The,
you're debating.
the
Don't straw man them.
stereotypically woke,
Steel man them so you have a
woke
good,
not Jewish
faith,
Marxist
honest conversation
character.
about where you
I'm
disagree.
surprised he
And then
doesn't
he
have
comes
a Star of David on him.
Talking about Kamala Harris. She's in the occult, she's Marxist, and she's a Satanist.
Are you looking
Yeah,
forward to
very good
laugh at
faith.
these arguments for the next 8 years,
Very
potentially?
good faith reading. With her banal, like the real attack
No.
of her using this
It's gonna be
phrase
funny, though.
is like, hey, show me.
It'll definitely
how
make it
you're
easier
gonna
for
make
us.
people to be
Looking
unburdened by
forward
the
to
past,
it.
right? Show me in your policies how you're gonna
Oh
make the
wait,
country better.
you guys don't have policies.
Instead,
That's right. I
oftentimes
forgot.
she
That's
just
why you gotta
uses
go
it as a
racist and
platitude, and
misogyny.
it's like, do you really
Yep.
walk the walk, or do you just talk the talk? And oftentimes with
See, the difference is when we criticize her, which we're probably going to, we're going to criticize because we're right and she does terrible policies because she's to the right of us. Only thing you guys got is racism and sexism. You have no valid arguments against her, just like
Exactly.
you did against Biden and Obama and so on. You guys got nothing because your guys' policies suck.
hers, just talking the talk. That's the real, attack over this phrase that she uses. It makes her sound like she's more in favor of aggressive progress than she is. But no, he can't help himself. But trying to make things better, trying to be unburdened by the past, that's actually Satanist. Because, Jesus was all about the status quo. Keep everything as it is. Be burdened by the past. Oh my God.
And want to kill LGBT.
Yep.
All
And to
right.
kill it,
I'm
and
sure I'm missing a whole
interracial
bunch of
couples, and
other
everything else.
I guess they'll be very angry about my aunt, who is actually a hardcore Christian, but advocates loving everyone, treating LGBT right and all that. Ugh.
Good.
Guess that triggers you all hearing that.
Things, but I'm just giving you a little taste. It's gonna get worse, guys. It's gonna get worse. I mean, we're
Worse?
just getting warmed
You mean
up.
get better for us to
So,
laugh at?
I mean, they're trying to shoot themselves in the foot.
And make it easier for us to
And
argue against
the
them?
race, basically overnight since Kamala became the one, tightened up massively. And if they continue down this path, she might have a decent lead relatively soon. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
Thank you. Like I said, make it more likely you lose. Please do that. Be as racist, be as misogynistic, do everything possible to make yourself so repulsive that you lose. Please. So yeah, what do you guys think about all the disgusting comments, though, against Kamala?
Absolutely horrific. Absolutely horrific.
Buddies, I hate to break the news to you, but we're not in Russia, China, or the Middle East. We don't condone we don't condone what you say. They do, we don't. So why don't you go move over to those authoritarian shitholes if you want to say what you think about minorities and women. Alright, so now, on to the next topic.
Alright.
Next up
And it is Could Kamala axe Biden's admins? That'd be good.
Or as Kyle said in the video, report Kamala axing Biden's warmongers. Well, of course she. Well, first off,
Biden's genocidal terrorists.
Well, first off, she can't yet because she's not president. And I think probably most likely she's probably going to keep most of her admin in. Like, why not? She's continuing Biden's administrations pretty much, so why would she get rid of people? But I figured, I figured, let's check this out and see what Kyle had to say and what this report had to say. So let's go check this out.
All right, guys, so we got some really interesting leaks coming out about what a potential President Kamala Harris would do in terms of her staff. And there's a lot to take away from this. So look at this from Mediaite. Kamala Harris reportedly prepared to clean house in Biden cabinet, dumping secretaries of state, defense, and more.
That's pretty huge.
So let me first just point out,
Blinken,
in some ways, she's staying the course with
Sullivan?
Biden people. So, for example, what's her name? Jen O'Malley Dillon, I think it is. She was running Biden's campaign. It looks like Kamala's going to keep her.
But of course, even if she gets rid of them, does that mean she's going to replace them with better people? Was the next question. Which, of course, who knows?
Reports.
But of course, it's no point if she doesn't win.
David Plouffe, Plouffe, however you say it, he was an Obama era guy. So she's keeping some from Biden world. She's trying to go back and get some from Obama world. But specifically in the realm of foreign policy, it looks like she's like, no. You're done. You're out of here. Okay, here we go.
I don't know if you should actually trust that,
Kamala Harris is
Kyle.
reportedly planning an overhaul of the national security team if she wins the presidency, in a shakeup that would see the ousting of key Biden appointees. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, and Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin face being cut from the cabinet, according to current and former officials speaking with the Wall Street Journal. Okay, so
I'm just not so sold on this one yet. I just don't really think she's going to probably do much changes.
The way, all these guys are horrible. Jake Sullivan, Anthony Blinken, horrible. These are like literally the genocide funders and enablers. Lloyd Austin.
At the same time, they're helping trying to prevent a genocide in Ukraine, which you don't support, Kyle. So it's like a mixed bag. But of course,
remember that Kyle does not believe in the sovereignty of Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia.
And unfortunately, a lot of people on the left they're like so fixated on Palestine that they don't ever talk about Ukraine, which annoys us because there's another genocide right there, people, and none of you talk about it. If anything, you act against it. Just you're like, sometimes you guys are like the reverse of conservatives, where they support Russia they do support both ways. It's right, but
they support both genocides. But it's only one genocide that the others support. Those on the left support, and that's the genocide of Ukrainians, Moldovans, and Georgians.
Like, you gotta be consistent on both of them, which is why I think these three are a little bit more mixed bag than you just assuming they're all bad. And like I said, I don't know if they're gonna be eliminated because I don't think Kamala's gonna probably do much if she does win.
Former fucking defense contractor lobbyist who became the defense secretary. Like, direct conflict of interest. I forget if it's with Lockheed or Raytheon, but it's one of those. So this is good. It's good that she's like, they're out of here. The news comes as Blinken offered his support of Harris, calling her a leading voice of American foreign policy in the Biden administration. Meanwhile, Harris's National Security Advisor, Philip Gordon, is poised to play a central role in the new administration. Gordon, who previously served as the top State Department official for Europe under former President Barack Obama, and later as a senior White House official on Middle East issues.
I hope he's not a teaser
then. From a COVID infection, Harris has stepped into presidential duties.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. Forgot to bring that up about Biden. He got COVID recently. That's right.
Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah, and he recovered. Oh my God, did you see all the conspiracy theories that he's died?
Yeah.
Like Alex Jones and all that. Fucking idiot.
Yes,
yeah,
my God.
And Biden's alive. So eat shit,
yes, he's
stupid fucks. So how about that?
As surrogate,
eat shit and die, Alex Jones.
Visits Washington, D.C.
I hope you enjoy next 6 months of still dealing with that brain dead old man because we're going to enjoy laughing your misery.
Harris will meet with Netanyahu in the White House, but will miss his congressional address on Wednesday. Harris has been more vocal on Palestinian issues than Biden, in just one of several potential breaks with his approach to world affairs, although if elected, she is expected to maintain many of his foreign policy goals, including strong support for Ukraine and efforts to strengthen allies in Asia and the Pacific.
Which, Kyle, you're against. But hey, if she does all that and hopefully stops the genocide of the Palestinians, that is an absolute W, and that would absolutely help her win.
So
and
look, this guy
make us like her
Gordon
more.
is far
Exactly.
Philip Gordon is far better than Blinken and Jake Sullivan and Lloyd Austin. So remember,
Let me
guys,
guess, Kyle, because he's an
economically-
appeaser.
Economically, the
Yes.
Obama team
Because
was
he doesn't want to
worse than the
shoot
Biden team. Biden was way
doesn't
more
wanna
aggressive
shoot,
and way more progressive on
shoot people.
economic policy. On foreign policy, the Obama team was way better than the Biden team. And yes, that is mainly because
Not on
we
Ukraine,
started
not
arming and funding
really.
and
Not
genocide.
on
and
Ukraine.
then Yahoo walk
But
all
of course,
over
he
us.
supports it probably.
Like there was a time
Yeah.
where
Oh,
you
of
could have said
course,
the Biden
Carl
team was better on
supports Russia. He probably wants a he wants the US to become a hermit state.
foreign policy than the Obama
And so,
team.
of course, Russia annexing Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia is good for him.
And China with Taiwan.
Yep, China, Taiwan, Nepal, and Bhutan,
Vietnam, Philippines, Mongolia. And if they were able to get away with the rest of Southeast Asia, the Koreas, and Japan. Oh, that's right, Hawaii too.
Hawaii, Russia with Alaska.
Oh, have I already told you about this crazy Chinese propagandist woman I deal with on Twitter?
No.
Oh my God, that says that China needs to liberate America, North America. advocating that China will liberate Pennsylvania and use the Liberty Bell to burn it down and make it turn like minerals for metals and stuff for the Olympics recently. Yeah, good luck reaching Pennsylvania. Good luck. And get
Biden
nuked
pulled out of
along the way.
Afghanistan and told everybody to suck his nuts if they disagreed. That was based. Massively
Let me see if I
cut
can
the
find a
drone
tweet
war.
for you to laugh
That was
at.
based. But since then, I mean, obviously, when you arm and fund a genocide, it wipes away a lot of the good you did, right? So with Obama, remember, guys, we got Cuba
Here we go.
normalization happened under Obama. That has since been reversed, but he tried to do the right thing on that front. The Iran deal happened under Obama. That was probably one of the best, if not the best thing he did. Now, he did do some bad things early on in his administration. He did a troop surge in Afghanistan. That was terrible. Shouldn't have done that. The
Here
drone
you
war,
go
of
when you
course,
get the
Obama
chance.
perpetuated it. Trump made it worse. He increased it by over 400%. But it was a mixed picture with Obama. I think the Iran agreement was a massive success. Of course, they reversed that. The Cuban normalization, that was a great success.
Oh my fucking God. Wow.
Told you. You gotta see what that one.
Yeah.
Happy we're gonna get liberated?
Yep.
Yeah, why not just come down here and kill me? Because you're only gonna be a few hours away at that point.
In some ways, the Obama team was better on foreign policy. And the fact that she's trying to axe the people who are primarily responsible for the arming and the funding of Israel and Netanyahu as they committed genocide, that is a great sign. The fact that she was like, I'm not going to...
Kyle, who says first off she's going to do it? Because I don't fully believe this. And even if she did do it, who says they're necessarily going to be replaced with someone better either? Like, she's part of the administration. You can't necessarily trust her. She's not like Bernie or
his
anything.
speech. That is a great sign. Now, I don't like that she met with him otherwise, right? I don't like that.
Again, Kyle, we already brought this up. She's part of the administration. She really can't say no to that. She, like, the other part, yes, she could and she did, and that's good. But the actual you kind of can't because they're part of the administration.
But clearly, what she's trying to do is, like, split the difference in terms of she doesn't want the psycho attacks to come from the right.
Well, they're going to attack her no matter what. That she's anti-Semitic.
I think what she realizes is this. Netanyahu is truly a hardcore partisan actor now. This is something Biden either doesn't know or doesn't care, that Netanyahu really is in bed with the Republicans. And Kamala obviously gets that. And
I don't
Biden
know about
doesn't.
that one.
And so, in theory, every Democratic president from here on out is going to be far more anti-Netanyahu and far more critical of Israel than the Biden administration has been.
Yeah.
How it's hammered his poll numbers and he's humiliated himself.
Yeah, like majority, like 70% of Democrats are against what Israel's doing. So yeah, you better start doing what we say. When we say be against Israel, you do that.
Mind just the moral implications and the ethical implications of arming and funding a genocide. So, axing Jake.
But guess what, Kyle? To make you mad, Democrats overwhelmingly support Ukraine, though, so you can be mad.
Yes, you can be mad. Be cope and seethe, Kyle.
Sullivan.
We know that you want the US to become a hermit state and Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia to be annexed.
Anthony Blinken axing Lloyd Austin. That's a good thing. So the thing, honestly...
So if anything, Kyle might be way too, like, American Diabolist and brain dead and naive to necessarily believe this.
Should be rooting for is this.
Well, we know that he's an American Diabolist, that he hates America and wants it to burn.
Economic front, you want her to continue the Biden stuff. Like, for example, you want to keep...
Well, I'm pretty sure she would. Like I said, Kyle, I don't think she's going to probably do pretty much any changes whatsoever. So I think you're going to get what you want in that regard.
A number of, his Consumer Financial Protection Bureau types in there.
Well, like, why would she get rid of them? That's part of Obama. Well, even if she got rid of them and replaced them with, like, Obama people, would you say Obama helped make the Consumer Financial Protection, so they would also protect it, too. So
I want her to continue down the path of...
I just don't really see...
pro-union
like
stuff.
They honestly
you
kind
want
of
her
silly
to
at the
not be
moment.
like Obama on economics. You'd rather her be more like Joe Biden or to Joe Biden's left on economics. But on foreign policy, literally the last thing she should ever do is keep these absolute psychopaths in place. These psychopaths, these warmongers, these insane people who are casually arming and funding a genocide and giggling about it as they go.
But they're also helping fight against another one, Kyle. You need to be a little bit more nuance on it.
It's politically astute. It's more politically astute than I would have expected from Kamala Harris. So it is a little bit of a bright sign, but we have to keep our eye on what she does with all the personnel moving forward.
A bright sign
that
we know you're an American Diabolist and you hate it, and you actually hate America.
Like, Kyle, don't go into Hassan territory. Like, don't go there. Like, you're more honest person than Hassan. Please don't go in that direction.
As to how she plans to govern if she wins. Hey, y'all, do me a favor.
So, yeah, what do you guys say about this? Are you convinced about it?
No, not really.
And like I said, even if she does that, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be good, Kyle. Like, you need to, like, wait and see. But, of course, more importantly, she has to win first before she can do anything.
Yeah,
so until she wins, nothing, we don't know anything. So, yeah. So, yeah, that was, honestly, kind of a waste of time. So, anyways, on to the next topic.
And that is the second last topic. Biden going after SCOTUS?
Yeah, this is one of the earlier topics I wanted to talk about too. Supposedly, Biden might actually try and strip some power away from SCOTUS before he leaves. Now, of course, what can he do? I don't know, because it's probably going to require Congress, and they're going to absolutely vote against it to keep SCOTUS as power as long as they can. But, hey, it's a good thing still, even if you don't succeed, so let's see.
Alright guys, so the Washington Post is out with a pretty big report here about how Biden is set to announce support for major Supreme Court changes. Plans include proposals for legislation to establish term limits for the justices and enforce an ethics code.
Both are based. But unfortunately, when it comes to the term limits, they're most likely going to be grandfathered in, which means all the Supreme Court's people in power, they don't have term limits, but everyone afterwards, they would. That's how it always is.
So right off the bat here, an ethics code is the biggest no-brainer of all time.
Yes, that needs to happen, especially with you, Clarence Thomas.
Does the Supreme Court have a code of ethics? I guarantee you they would think, well, obviously. Of course they have a code
with Clarence Thomas, obviously they don't.
All the other courts do, but the Supreme Court doesn't. So apparently if you make it high enough, you no longer
there's
have to have
a theory that the reason he doesn't,
but here's what they say.
Secretly hoping interracial marriage is overturned is because he wants to divorce his interracial relationship.
Of course.
Biden is finalizing plans to endorse major changes to the Supreme Court in the coming weeks, including proposals for legislation to establish term limits for the justices and an enforceable ethics code, according to two people briefed on the plans. He is also weighing whether to call for a constitutional amendment to eliminate broad immunity for presidents and other constitutional office holders.
That would be base too, but that's going to be even harder, unfortunately. And the constitutional amendment's even harder. That's like, you need like 3/4 of the House, Senate, or 3/4 of the states to do that. That's going to be...
This is impossible these days.
Speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss private deliberations. Okay, now we're talking, right? Term limits is kind of a no-brainer. Should have been done a long time ago.
Well, like I said, if they did get term limits, they're most likely going to be grandfathered in, so it won't apply most likely.
Ethics code is
at least for right now.
To not do it is criminal. But to say we are specifically going to try to overturn the idea of presidential immunity, this very broad interpretation of presidential immunity, that you absolutely should.
Maybe you should have done that when you had the House and the Senate back in 21 to 22.
Yeah.
Do. But look, here's the problem with Biden saying these things is do you actually have a plan of action to win in the fight to get these things?
And by the way, people, I think this video was done before Biden dropped out, so I think that's what Kyle's trying to refer to. So that's kind of irrelevant.
Is it just
now.
like, I'm going to virtue signal and release a report that says we should do this and then not lift a fucking finger for it? If I know Biden and his history, it's more likely he's going to say, yeah, we should do this, and then just fucking not do it, not do anything, right? See what else we got here. The announcement would mark a major shift for Biden, a former chair of the Senate Judiciary Committee who has long resisted calls to reform the High Court. The potential changes come in response to growing outrage among his supporters about recent ethics scandals around Justice Clarence Thomas and decisions by the new court majority that have changed legal precedent on issues including abortion and federal regulatory powers. Biden previewed the shift in a Zoom call Saturday with the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Quote, I'm going to need your help on the Supreme Court because I'm about to come out. I don't want to prematurely announce it, but I'm about to come out with a major initiative on limiting the court. I've been working with constitutional scholars for the last 3 months, and I need some help, Biden said, according to the transcript of the call obtained by the Washington Post. Many, if not all of the changes would probably need congressional approval. Okay.
Which, unfortunately, Republicans are not going to allow.
If that's the path we're going here, I don't even know why we're talking about this. Hey,
if you want to make it more likely, please get enough Democrats in the House so they have the majority, and then Kamala can do all those things, hopefully.
Details of Biden's considered policies have not been disclosed. Okay. So look, I don't know, man. I don't know. These are good ideas. Are they going to get done? If you're going to go through Congress, or probably not,
unfortunately. Well, the Constitution, man, that's almost impossible.
Why he would be talking about this now.
Yep.
He sees the polls. He sees Trump is up massively in the polls. He knows he's in big trouble. So what's one of the things he did? The other week when he did a rally, he listed, like, hey, here's what we're going to do in the second term, and they were actually decent.
Well, of course, none of that matters now.
Rent increases of 5%, that's a good idea. He said we're going to go after medical debt. We're going to eliminate medical debt, buy it for pennies on the dollar, and wipe it out. Great.
Oh, good,
great.
but why didn't you do it earlier?
But why haven't you done any of those things already?
Exactly.
And why are you committed on, if you try to do any of these things, which I doubt he'll try to do most of them, or even half of them, why are you not trying to do it in the most effective and efficient way where you could sort of subvert the authoritarians who are doing everything to kill your legacy and block these things, right? I mean, sometimes he tries to do it that way, but most of the time he's an institutionalist and he'll try to do it the traditional way and get stonewalled and then say, ah, well, there's nothing I can do, right? So look, these are good policy proposals, but the other thing we need to do is court stripping. We've gone through this before, but what is it? Article 3, Section 2 of the Constitution is about how you get to regulate what the court can even address. We got to do that here. We got to do that here. Because if they can go one by one and destroy every pillar of civilized society in this country, and that seemingly is what they're in the midst of doing. So you got to stop them. And a toothless way of fighting back is not going to do it. So look, I don't want to be too cynical here and say, you know, it sucks that he said these things. No, it's good he said these things, but are you going to follow through? Prove to us you're going to follow through. And do it in a way that actually has fight in you. Not some, well, we tried to bring it through the House and couldn't, and that's why we gave up, and now I'm saying there's nothing I could do.
You're going to keep fighting like that forever and stop being pussies.
That ain't going to get the job done. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like...
So, yeah, that was a lot better than the last video. So, yeah, we got to say about that. Biden doing that.
Interesting possibility.
Sucks it most likely won't happen, especially the constitutional one. But hey, give it your best chance, Biden, before you're gone in 6 months. You got nothing to lose at this point, so you might as well go as progressive as possible, hopefully help Kamala be in a better spot. That's all we can say. And now, on to the last topic.
Elongated Musgrave is a deadbeat piece of shit fuckwit.
A piece of shit dad. Oof. Yep. That must suck. Imagine having him as your dad. Oof. So that's very unfortunate. So yeah, Elongated Musgrave not only destroying Twitter, but he just did a talk recently with Jordan Peterson, of all people. And he basically said that his trans daughter is dead, and of course and misgendered her and all that because he's a piece of shit dad. So yeah, this is pretty pathetic and disgusting of him. So let's see what he says.
I lost my son, essentially.
Daughter.
You know, they call it dead naming for a reason.
Yeah. What? That's not dead naming. That's misgendering, and you're doing it on purpose.
All right. So the
because you're an asshole. We would have probably killed your kid if you had the chance to.
Your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead.
Daughter, you fucktard.
Maybe he just doesn't like women either.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up, Peterson. Just shut up.
Shut up, you.
Yeah.
Shut up,
Go,
you.
go back on the
Right,
Muppets
so let's-
instead.
So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
His daughter was killed by the woke mind virus, of course. Piece of
That was
shit.
Elon Musk.
Yeah, by the
World's
Jewish
richest man, and
mind virus.
And by the way, guys, we're not joking. Elon Gay Musgrave has actually tweeted a whole bunch of anti-Semitic stuff over the last several months. He is an anti-Semite.
The world's worst
So you might have been joking about that, but he actually probably does believe that, which is crazy.
parent, claiming that his trans daughter is dead because of the woke mind virus. But that's just not true. His child is very much alive, thankfully, but since he can't accept that she's trans, he's choosing to pretend like she's dead because that's somehow easier for him to accept than her being trans, which says a lot about his morality. Listen, any parent who'd rather pretend like their child is dead instead of just accepting them for who they are, they're not just a bad parent, they're a bad person. It just speaks to who you are as an individual.
And all he cares about is
terrible human being. Most parents love their children unconditionally, I'd like to think. Maybe they don't always understand or approve of their child's actions, but they still love them because that's kind of the whole point of unconditional love.
But Elon
Musk is saying, actually, there are conditions.
Holocaust.
If you're trans, I don't love you anymore. You're
I am a Nazi and I want everyone to die.
So morally reprehensible that even looking at him grosses me out. What a terrible person. Now,
that's why back in 2023, Tesla and Aaron on The Sims 4 made him as elongated Musgrave man look like a mouse.
Yep.
You might remember that, don't you?
Yes, I remember that.
I'd say that he should be ashamed of himself, but this man is incapable of feeling shame. Now, listen,
because
to be fair to him, I do understand that he feels hurt because he no longer...
Real life Mr. Krabs.
But here's the funny thing. He actually cares about his kid, unlike you, Elongated Musgrave. So, if anything, you're worse than Mr. Krabs.
Or has a relationship with his daughter.
He treats Pearl better than you.
That's his fault. He is dead-naming and misgendering her in front of millions of people. He refuses to respect and accept her for who she is, and he's wondering why they no longer have a relationship. Put two and two together, Elon, and maybe you'll figure it out. Now, ask yourself this question. Would you want anything to do with your parent if they treated you this way? I know I sure the fuck wouldn't.
No.
But we're now learning that him rejecting his trans child and subsequent anger over what he thought was her being indoctrinated by the woke mind virus is kind of what put him
the Jewish
on this far-right trajectory that he's currently on. And that's what ultimately culminated in him buying the
Remember, he's anti-Semitic, so...
He wants to... Well, no, I'm sure he will say it eventually because he is anti-Semitic.
The advocate explains, quote, Vivian Wilson, 20, is one of 6 children, 5 living, Musk had with his first wife, model Justine Wilson. She filed a petition in Los Angeles County Superior Court in April of 2022 to legally change her name and gender, citing the reason as gender identity and the fact that I no longer live with or wish to be related to my biological father in any way, shape, or form. Justine Wilson said shortly after Vivian came out that she was very proud of her. In recounting a conversation they had about her daughter's journey, she quoted Vivian as saying, I had a weird childhood. I can't believe I'm as normal seeming as I am. When Justine said, I'm very proud of you, she reportedly replied, I'm proud of myself. So you have this young woman
at least your mom accepts you for who you are.
Genuinely happy and proud of herself.
Yeah, because his mom's a better person than Elon Musk will ever be.
He's attacking her. And he thinks that his daughter was tricked, and because of his rejection and cognitive dissonance, he bought Twitter to try to
she was tricked by the Jews. That's what Elon Musk believes because he's an anti-Semite.
And yes, he has said stuff like on the Twitter. We're not even making fun of him. He actually says that.
Menace.
Yeah.
And it's just... It's gross. You know, he is dead-naming her.
He literally believes the white genocide crap, people. He's tweeted that out.
He believes the white genocide conspiracy theory.
And he doesn't even understand why that would be hurtful to her. He's just thinking about himself. Now, he's implying
I like money, and I
in that
want to do a
interview that
Holocaust.
she's not actually trans.
I want murder.
I guess tricked her into thinking that she's trans, and on top of that, it's been reported that he also thinks that the wokesters tricked her into being communist and hating rich people like him, and that's why he thinks she hates her. Now, I don't know anything about the personal dynamic between
Jewish, remember?
them, I would assume that the fact that he's publicly dead-naming and misgendering her
You're literally Henry
probably has
Ford,
something
pal.
to do with the fact that they no longer have a relationship. If he's this
And Twitter's your Dearborn independent. Ooh.
cool to her publicly, I don't want to know what he said to her privately. I bet it was a lot more fucked up. Now, he doesn't just think that his daughter was indoctrinated or tricked into being trans. He also claims that he was tricked as well. So before he made that comment that we saw in the previous clip, he talked about why he's so transphobic currently, and it all stems from this belief that he was lied to about what was best for his child.
Why are you willing to make this an issue? Do you think?
I
mean,
well,
it's sort of like the
happened to one of my.
issue.
It happened to one of my older boys, where I was essentially tricked into signing documents.
Yeah, sure,
for
you were
one of my
tricked.
older boys.
Sure, you were tricked, you piece of shit.
This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had
this is
COVID
complete
going
campaign.
on.
Before you understood any understanding that the Jews were behind it.
Oh my gosh, look at this capit. I found CNN while trying to look up anti-Semitic quotes. Oh, look what he just said there. Oh my gosh. He claims that Twitter has less anti-Semitic content than before.
Oh, you're literally the home of Nazis, Musk.
Oh my
dear God.
Man, he is so naive and out of touch.
No, he's malicious. He's malicious.
Yeah.
Remember, he grew up in South Africa, in apartheid South Africa. Literally a neo-Nazi, literally a neo-Nazi paradise.
Here we go. I found something. Elon Musk endorses anti-Semitic conspiracy theory about Jews welcoming hordes of minorities.
Yeah,
white
no
replacement crap.
Surprise.
That's white replacement bullshit.
The white genocide conspiracy theory. What a fucking surprise! Not.
That was a lie
Said
right
no
from
one
the
ever.
outset. No reliable clinician ever believed that. There was never any evidence for that. And also, if there's a higher suicide rate, the reason is because of the underlying depression and anxiety, and not.
No, Peterson, the reason why the trans community has a higher suicide rate is because pieces of shit like you won't accept them for who they are. When they're in the community and accept them for who they are, as we covered this years ago, the suicide rate drops from like 15/16, over a 90% decline.
Yep.
If you treat trans people with respect, they won't kill themselves. It's you guys that won't accept them, and it's your guys' fault that they're dying. We've had this argument years ago, and I'm tired of having to bring it up.
Because of the gender dysphoria. And every goddamn clinician knows that, too. And they're too cowardly to come out and say it.
No,
right?
because
and
they're
so
right.
That, and then we end up exactly.
Stupid fucks.
When
Yes, they're right. You're wrong. Pope and Stephen, maybe.
And go back to the Muppets.
You're telling parents that they
with Patrick
agree
Mahomes.
to this radical transformation.
Maybe to a companion could be Kermit.
And you think that's moral, and you think that's true. That's so pathological. It's almost incomprehensible. I can't imagine anything worse. I can't imagine a therapist doing anything worse than that, or sitting by.
I can't even imagine hearing you two talk. You're so irritating.
Yeah.
It's.
I think I'd want to kill. I think I'd probably want to kill myself after hearing you go off.
It won't stop till that happens.
Yeah.
It'll just go underground. Puberty blockers are being accessed online by kids all the time through non-medical channels.
Yeah, sure.
So, it's not going to stop. Yeah. Okay, so
dude.
That's.
I'm not even kidding you. One girl had to be put on puberty blockers because she was showing signs. She was getting breast buds and pubic hair at 4. She was literally 4 years old, and she had hit stage 2.
Well, of course, they would think that's a good thing. That way she can have multiple kids and be a rape victim and all that. That's a good thing, don't you know?
More like die of childbirth at 8.
But you think they care or no?
Nope, because they're evil.
Yep.
Because they love because remember there was that Republican that died that wanted to legalize murdering women who were seeking abortions.
Child molestation is a very common thing among the right, as we keep pointing out, and then they project.
It doesn't explain to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs.
Okay, so there's a lot there, but first of all, one is doctors that provide
bullshit.
Puberty blockers don't sterilize. All it does is delay puberty, and they can be removed or stop being taken just like that with no ill side effects. It's not a big deal.
Medically necessary and life-saving gender-affirming healthcare
Like
is
that,
overtly
like that woman,
fascist.
that girl you just talked about.
These decisions are made between medical professionals, parents, and the child. And like all medical treatments, of course, there is risk. But the pros and the cons are weighed out by the parents, who are able to make an informed decision that's best for their family. If a child had a cancerous brain tumor, for example, the procedure to remove that would be very, very serious. It'd be life-threatening potentially and could pose long-term cognitive damage for that child. Nobody thinks that it would be appropriate in that scenario for the government to step in and say, actually, that's too risky, and the doctor should be jailed for offering that procedure since it's so risky. That would be insane. But for some reason, when it comes to this medical issue, when it comes to gender-affirming care, Elon Musk thinks that a blanket decision, a one-size-fits-all approach, that's how it should be. The government should impose what they think is appropriate, disregard the evidence. Now, it's not surprising because conservatives have that same exact mentality towards reproductive health care and IVF. But when it comes to Elon Musk, he clearly has deluded himself into thinking that he was begrudgingly goaded into signing documents and feels like he was gaslit by a doctor into making his child trans, and he doesn't think that his child was trans. Now he shares more about this on Twitter, saying, "Dead name was born gay and slightly autistic, two attributes that contribute to gender dysphoria. I knew that from when he was about 4 years old, and he would pick out clothes for me to wear, like a jacket, and tell me it was fabulous, as well as his love of musicals and theater."
Wait, are you insinuating that a kid saying fabulous means they're gay? That's very stereotyping.
But he was not a girl.
Very
again, he's misgendering his daughter.
And kind of in the closet-y.
He just assumes that he had a gay son and not a trans daughter. But I think that his daughter would know better than him. Just because she said the word fabulous doesn't automatically mean that she's gay. And this talking point here that he's using is pretty common among transphobes like Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling. It's this idea that children are being misdiagnosed.
Oh God, here we go, J.K. Rowling again.
When they're really just gay.
J.K.
But that's not how it works. Orientation and gender identity are two completely different things. They are related to an extent, but they're different things. For example, like I was a pretty flamboyant kid myself, and it was pretty obvious by the time I was like 3 or 4 that I was queer as a $3 bill. But nobody could have convinced me that I was a trans girl because I'm cis. In fact, I remember being really upset when kids would point out how effeminate I was. One in particular said that I acted like a girl, and that hurt my feelings because I did not want to be a girl. I wanted to be a boy, right? You couldn't have convinced me that I was a girl because that's not innate in me. Queer people know who they are. Trans people know who they are. Elon Musk's daughter isn't hopping on a bandwagon. She transitioned because she's trans. She knows who she is.
And there's nothing
now,
wrong
there's another
with it,
curious component to the story.
There's nothing wrong.
So he's seemingly lying about at least some of the details of him being tricked by the doctor, because as Julie Ray points out, Vivian would have been 16 years old when she began gender-affirming care. At that age, puberty blockers are useless. She would have begun HRT at that age. Also, she's very much alive. She just wants nothing to do with her abusive parent. Same as so many kids with gender-critical and TERF parents nowadays. Now, it's possible that he's confusing puberty blockers with hormone replacement therapy. HRT can also make it more difficult to have children, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's just being purposefully hyperbolic to scare parents with younger kids who may qualify for puberty blockers, right? But let's talk about this notion that he was tricked into signing documents and was fearful that if he didn't support gender-affirming care for his daughter, she might commit suicide. Now, Jordan Peterson incorrectly and stupidly claims that it's a lie to say that trans and non-binary youth are more susceptible to depression and suicidal ideation, and if they are suicidal, well, it's not because of gender dysphoria, it's because of pre-existing underlying mental health issues. Now, he is completely wrong, and the opposite of what he's saying is true. This is according to not me, but experts and data. So a meta-analysis from the Trevor Project explains that gender-affirming care, along with other factors, including family support, have been proven to reduce suicidal ideation. And let's just go over some of the findings from the studies that they cite. Transgender and non-binary children who socially transition, we're talking about a new name, new pronouns, and perhaps different clothing, they have similar levels of self-worth as cis children, although they do have slightly higher levels of anxiety, which probably stems from the fear that their peers will treat them differently or perhaps be mean to them. Furthermore,
and I wouldn't be surprised
bully them and maybe even murder them.
I wouldn't be surprised if gay kids have that feeling too as well.
Suicidal ideation decreases when their gender identity.
Things of interracial couples, and probably the kids of interracial couples as well, depending on the part of the world that part of the shithole that some parts of America is.
And of course, probably even the Middle East for women as well.
Yep.
Moving on, when it comes to medical transitions, trans youth on puberty blockers see decreased emotional and behavioral problems as well as suicidal ideation. And when it comes to hormone replacement therapy, not only does that reduce suicidal
Basically,
ideation,
everyone that is not
a
straight, cis, white, conservative, male piece of shit.
So that's almost you and me. Except not conservative and a piece of shit.
And overall confidence.
Yep, exactly.
That is extremely important because 50% of trans and non-binary youth have considered suicide, according to a 2023 survey of 34,000 queer young people published by the Trevor Project. In other words, we're looking at a crisis situation here, which is why the experts, not the ideologues, mind you, insist that gender-affirming healthcare is medically necessary and life-saving. Because it is. It is literally a matter of life and death. Taking this away from children could lead to them committing suicide or engaging in self-harm, which is why doctors are obligated to tell parents about this because they wouldn't know that automatically, right? Most people don't know about this. So them telling you that is for the safety of your child, Elon Musk. But yet he's spreading misinformation along with Jordan Peterson because they're bitter and transphobic. They don't actually care about their children or trans people, and that's just despicable.
Because they hate it.
They are treating this as if it's some, fad, or anyone who comes out as trans, they've been infected by the woke mind virus, whatever the fuck that means. But being trans...
Do you remember that argument for LGBT back in the 2000s? I sure do as a teen. Oh, God.
What was that argument about?
That being gay was a fad? Remember that argument?
Oh, yes. Being gay is not a fad.
And being gay was a choice, too? Oh, I remember those in the 2000s.
Yes. That's always a massive self-report when they say that. That is a massive self-report.
Those good old days back in the 2000s that you don't know how homophobic America was back then because I grew up during it.
It's a part of life. It's a part of humanity.
Yeah.
Trans people have always existed, and
how was it down there though when you were a teen like me?
I didn't see it, but I imagine that it was rough.
Oh man, you're all lucky you didn't grow up in America in 2000 like I did.
And when a trans person comes out,
it was
and accepts themselves and chooses to be themselves, that is a beautiful thing. That should be celebrated. It is a radical act of self-love that should be commended. And when a trans person in particular comes out to you or their family members, that's the ultimate compliment because they're inviting you to be part of their lives. They're asking you if you want to celebrate their lives with them. They want to be here. You should be grateful. But to Elon Musk, he'd rather tell himself that his child is dead than trans.
Because I hate my kid.
He's truly a disgusting piece of shit, but unfortunately, his daughter's experience isn't unique. Trans people are rejected by their families all the time. And it's just heartbreaking. So I think that as cis people, we have to step up. If you know a trans person who's been rejected, you can be their new family. You can be their uncle. You can be their new father who walks them down the aisle since their biological father won't. You can be their mother who gives them a hug.
Well, we can't.
Since their biological parents won't. So if you are trans or non-binary and you're watching this and you've been rejected by your family, fuck them. I accept you. I'm sure there's a lot of people down below in the comment section who is going to accept you. And countless others
and you too
would just be happy to have you in their lives. They would be lucky to have you as part of their lives.
It's like all LGBT. And cis.
I actually know 2 trans and 1 non-binary person in my life.
I actually have 2 family members on my dad's side that are. I haven't seen them in a long time, though.
Oh.
But yeah. So yeah, what do you guys say about elongated Musgrave being more of a Nazi than he already was?
Not really surprised. He's a piece of shit, so...
And destroying Twitter along the way, too.
Yes.
You really are Henry Ford, Hal.
Yes.
All you need left is to support Russia and China even more, and it'll be ultimately there.
Yep.
Stupid fuck. So yeah, guys, we finally got through all the topics. So see you all next time for episode 109.